those things, you know.
He makes good music. Crazy.
I did, Michael, until
No.
you said it, for some fucking reason in my brain, it just didn't connect that he was Kickback. I don't know why.
Ah,
Just until
hey,
you
he's also
said it.
peace sign from.
Well, I knew
My
that.
Hero.
That one I knew. I just
And the
and also-
one of the March comes in as like a lion openings or endings.
And
I can't remember
also
which.
like a shit ton of vocal.
Ooh, Mason, your mic sounds wrong.
Yeah, you sound like you were
Oh.
speaking actually into a plastic cup connected with a string to another plastic cup. That's the best way to describe the sounds I'm hearing.
It sounds like you're
How's
being...
that?
Also, that's much better.
I don't know what happened, but I guess it said it was on this mic, but it wasn't, I guess. So
It certainly
whatever.
wasn't. Hey, no, I need that tab open. Stop. Don't do that. Okay. Well, firstly, I need to go get this. That wasn't the right button, but it works. We'll take it. And eventually, we'll do what I want to do.
I already told Sean, and Mason already knows too. But Michael, I've had pneumonia for like 2 weeks, so if I am just like out of it, I apologize in advance. More so than usual.
Fair. Happens.
I died the last 2 weeks.
Have you
Great.
considered not doing?
No, it's pretty fun.
Michael, do you remember, were we home or were we on campus when I got hospitalized with pneumonia? I think we were home, right?
I don't think that was on campus.
Because I was going to say, it was for my birthday, which would imply that we were home. Because that would have been too early, but I wasn't sure. I forget, have I been dropping this in this chat? It's been a fucking while, so I won't know. No, I don't think so. I think I would have seen it by now. But I was not putting it in that chat. Oh. There's that. There's that. That doesn't want to load, but I assume that posted. Cool, there it goes. Okay. We're good, and we're live. And we're live, and we're blue. We're blue now this season. Everything's blue.
Dabba-dee-dabba-die.
That was believe it or not, the easiest part of this was changing everything to blue. That was the easiest and quickest thing to do layout wise. Yeah.
I do believe it.
You would think, because you would think that I would have done something stupid, like saved a template that would have involved me making the transparent background around every individual border frame for our names, and then having to also change the color from black to the right color. No, see, what I could actually do is just take the orange frame from last season and just change the color of it in Photoshop. Crazy. Crazy how simple that. I was expecting it to be much worse and take another extra 15 minutes, but it didn't, and so we're here. I guess I should do the rundown. Because it's the start of the season. That's right. Hello, everybody. And that means things need to be explained, obviously. Why are 5 of us here? Well, because there's 5 now. For now.
For
For now.
It's last season.
Yeah, for now.
But there will not be.
Well,
We don't know that.
who knows? Perhaps I have
Maybe.
Maybe. Things in the works. Perhaps
Maybe you're yesterday's news.
You'll never know. But there are 5 of us, and we are here to do something, and we will actually do it on this episode of the podcast, as opposed to wasting 45 minutes of not doing the thing we're here for, which is talking about anime. Because if you ever watch this podcast, you know, delaying 45 minutes to talk about nonsense instead of talking about anime on the first week episode is bad. Because we have watched 33 episodes of anime. And we're going to be talking loosely about all 33 of those episodes. Probably not. Probably mainly 11 of those more. But loosely we'll cover some other ones in there. And so what are these 11 shows? These 11 shows are newly airing anime, not sequels or short form, for the winter 2025 season of anime. So there are some things that will be on this podcast, like Sakamoto Days, and Medalist, and checks notes Momentary Lily. And there will be some things that are not on this podcast, like Solo Leveling Season 2, because you can go watch that
soon to be
yourself.
Momentary Lily.
Hey, you don't know that, John.
I know.
You haven't seen the power rankings. I have. So we are gonna. So as implied, there are 11 shows. We have watched the first 3 episodes of each of them, and we will be talking about those 11 shows in an order. That order is gonna be Michael's shows, Austin, Mason, me, and John, and then we're gonna repeat that. And then for the 11th show, we go back to Michael because he gave us the luxury of having a wheel pick, and his wheel pick was Momentary Lily. So we will close the
That's so
podcast
good.
talking about. I want you to know we're gonna close the podcast talking about arguably the 2 worst shows on this podcast this season.
Oh, absolutely.
I know there are some opinions about maybe some other things not being maybe a little worse than one of those. Some people have opinions on this podcast. In a little bit,
What?
I'll be popping up our PR ranking, which might be the
I'm excited.
which
to
might
see
be
this.
one of the
This will
most
be very interesting.
might be one of the
'Cause
most
I've heard,
interesting
like, no
power
opinions
rankings.
on anything at all. this
Besides
season.
mine, a little bit.
and even then, like vague.
Yeah, because we only
vague
watched
ones.
like the first episode of 6 shows.
And I've heard that everyone hates Momentary Lily, but that was kind of a given based off the fact that it is Momentary Lily made by Go Ahead Studio.
Hey, Michael,
Or Studio Go Ahead.
hate in this situation is either not strong enough or too strong of a word. It really depends. I'll tell you, I think it's not a strong enough word for how I feel about that show. But so we're gonna be talking about the first 3 episodes. There are gonna be spoilers. There are gonna be harsh language. This is kind of just we're gonna give a rundown,
Remember,
and then when we are done with talking about these 11 shows, I have a nice Google forum. I forget a Google form that I
Forum.
send out to everybody, and we are gonna vote to save a show if we like it, or slay a show if we don't. And the show with the most slays gets voted off. And Sean, you might be saying, what if we all equally hate enough shows enough that that multiple shows get 5 slays this week? Well, then it's gonna go to a wheel, and we're gonna let chance decide. And I want everybody to remember that fact that if if multiple shows this week get 5 slays on them, we let chance decide what goes off this podcast. And I'm stressing that because I know personally for me, I know what I don't want to watch next week. No matter how bad certain things are, I know what I don't want to
Sean,
watch
I feel like
next
you're
week.
being really specific about this for some reason, and I can't figure out why.
Oh, just wait till we talk about it, and then I'm gonna get really
Oh,
specific.
no, that's
See,
okay.
see what happened is that Sean found a good English patch for Tasokare Hotels. He just wants to play that instead of watching. That's what
English.
Michael, you know if I found
the
an
game's only available in Japanese.
you know if
It's a
I've
fucking game.
Oh,
Check.
you
Yeah.
didn't
Oh,
know
yeah.
that was a
You
visual
didn't
novel?
Notice you didn't notice the pings anytime she got an item?
We're gonna talk
I
about
don't
it.
know shit, bro.
We're gonna talk about
I
this.
just watched the show. Small
Yeah,
cheapy
we'll get to it
girl
when we
goes
get to that
around
girl.
and
The
discovers
shows-
mystery.
The shows we will be talking about this season are Flower and Asura, I Have a Crush at Work, ZENSHU, Sakamoto Days, Honey Lemon Soda, Medalist, Welcome to Japan, Miss Elf, Tasokare Hotel, Sorairo, Utility. I'm gonna butcher that show's name every week, and it's my own show.
That's the issue of you need to roll the R's.
Yeah, and that's why I'm
Sorairo.
gonna butcher it
Sorairo
every
Utility.
week. I'm getting married to a girl I hate in my class in Momentary Lily. Yeah, so we will talk about each of those shows in detail. I am Sean. I have been relegated to the host role of this podcast for multiple years now. I am joined by Michael.
Are you not originally
Oh.
the host?
I mean, he isn't technically the creator.
There is technically
He's
no
a co-creator.
there is technically no host to the podcast. We are all of equal standing on the pod. We all do the same thing for the podcast. I just happen to do
Except
all.
the part where you make the layouts.
yeah,
and,
but
like the
Realistically, I
stream
could
the stuff.
realistically I could split that burden. I just choose not to. I'm also joined by John, who is
Hi, that's
dying,
me. I have pneumonia and have for like 2 weeks, so I will be.
which is why
Here.
this week we'll be voting John off the podcast for all of our health and
John
safety,
is trying to
including.
vote John on the
including
podcast currently.
his.
So you guys don't have to do anything.
I'm also joined by Mason
Hello.
and by Austin.
Hello.
It should be noted that Austin won last season of this podcast.
Yep.
Good luck this season. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. I have a strong opinion right now, but we'll see how it stands in 8 weeks.
I just think that this season is going to be an absolute fiesta.
This is gonna be
I
a
just have a
fun
strong
season to
feeling.
talk about. I'm really excited. This is gonna be great.
I certainly don't have strong feelings on like 90% of these shows.
Yeah.
Well, that is gonna go to something I was gonna say, which is I think at least half these shows really just need another 1 or 2 weeks to cook, because
Yeah.
we are
Yeah.
we are in a very particular set of shows of genres where it's like I really need to know what you're doing and if you're gonna introduce more characters and what they're gonna be like, or if you're gonna introduce your
honey lemon
characters.
soda? That's the real question.
I want to.
Where
Where's
is
the honey?
Where does it come
Yeah.
from?
What do you mean?
Michael-
He's the honey. Because he's so sweet. We'll get there.
Is he?
Yeah, I was saying, they said it's the lemon soda, and I was like, "Where's the honey?"
At the same time, Michael and I both on
You
the
can't
drop
roll
of
the
a
credits
dime.
on day one, guys.
They sure tried.
Wait till the new flavor comes out in springtime,
One of our
guys.
one of
The
our
cherry
one of
blossom.
our shows tells us the entire cycle of the whole entire show and its anime opening. It's crazy. I technically
does
don't
do
have to
that.
watch it. It's great. But I guess we can just roll on into it. Because I'm not letting us talk about anything that is not our shows right now. Oh, well, there is one thing actually we do technically need to do first. And that is every season, every week of every season, we have a power ranking.
Except for the last one.
rankings.
Well, yeah, except for the last
God,
one,
would
because
it be really funny if I just didn't look at the power?
I mean, you could.
We just vaguely
made
allude
gross
to like
assumptions
where
about what
everything
it
is.
We get to the end, I gotta go. Oh, that was not at all how I thought any. But also, That's too
Somehow, Mason and I both dodged Eddie Bolds this week. I think it's just because
Kind
there's
of wild.
it's because there's enough. But let me state, despite the fact things that are bolded means no one else has that show in that bracket that the show is divided into, the list is divided into. There's just enough shit is everywhere that there's only a small amount of bolds. Some some people might take issues with across the board. I don't know. I'm just saying 2 of Michael's top 3 shows are bolded in bottom 4s. But bottom 4 doesn't really matter. What matters this week is bottom 2, maybe 3.
I mean, Tasokare, I understand. That's a thing that I watched and I went, hee, this is a visual novel. Brain go
It's fun.
happy.
I like it.
Also,
but I
haha,
get
Of
it.
course-
the visual novel
Of
to the
cour-
bottom.
Of course we do, Mason. I watched that show and went, damn, if this had an English patch, we would be playing this game.
Exactly.
Yeah, do I want to play the game? Absolutely. Can I? No.
Yeah. Right?
I don't speak the language.
Are you gonna let that
Read
stop
that
you?
shit.
But we have a
See,
while.
it could be one of those things where you have like the entire script like pulled up on a second monitor. So it's like
Okay, but we will get to that. We'll get to that in a bit. Instead, first, we have to talk about Flower and Asura, which means Michael, you are up.
so. Flower and Asura, a story about a person telling stories. Recitation is the term. It is essentially going on stage and telling an excerpt from a story. The one the show starts with, the one that the name is based on, is a poem or a collection of poems, I believe. Called Spring and Asura, hence the name Flower and Asura. Her name is Flower, and she tells a story. Her name is Hana. Translates to Flower. Tells it is a poem about Asura, the god of something or demigod
Wrath.
something. You know, he's a guy. He does some stuff. Yeah, so this show's central premise is there's this girl. She's very shy. She comes from a very small island off of one of the coasts of Japan, like fucking tiny island. To a point, she is the only person of her age on this island at the ripe old age of 14. And she's going to high school across. She has to take a ferry to high school, and she wants to join the broadcasting club
Well,
to do recitation. Well, so she really likes doing recitation. She likes reading stories to children. 'Cause that's a thing she just does on her island. And the broadcasting club president goes, hey, you should join my club. Because she's walking around on the island as she's finishing one of these stories, and she's like, hey, you should join the broadcasting club. She's like, I don't know, maybe. She sees her the next day at school, and she goes, I don't know. And the girl goes, I'm going to make you join this fucking club. And she sticks to her the whole
Still
day.
help me.
This president is the silliest character ever. She's very silly, very fun. She follows her home. on the last ferry, stays over, gets the ferryman to change the hours on the ferry. His original big hesitation was, oh, the last ferry leaves at 5 to get back to the island, and club hours would go way past that, so she wouldn't be able to do club hours. And the president goes, so talks to the ferry and goes, could you like shift that back? He goes, sure, yeah, that makes sense. I just never had to deal with this because there's like 7 people on this island. It feels like there's no one. It's her family and like 6 other families. It feels like. Okay, so by the end of episode 1, yeah, there's like really heartfelt moment between the 2 of them. She kind of shouts the poem out into the sea. And she joins the broadcasting club. Episode 2, whoa, she's at the broadcasting club. We meet our cast, meet our gang. We have a boy who is in her class, a girl who is the fucking worst.
True.
The guy who did their opening ceremony, and then the 3 senpai, the girl who got her in, the other girl, and then the guy with the deep voice. I don't remember any of their names. I don't feel like looking them up right now.
Understandable.
I have them pulled up. I'm not gonna read them all.
I mean, it doesn't particularly matter what
No.
their names are, because I could describe pretty much who. Yeah. But essentially, I don't remember exactly what technically is the shift between. Okay, I know what causes episode 2 to shift to 3. 2 is just kind of introducing us to the group. Quite literally introducing us to the group, because their first assignment as broadcasting club members is you're paired with another person of the starting members. So there's 4 of them, so they each get paired with someone, and they need to learn about them and give a 90-second presentation. And we learn a bit about all of them. We learn what each of their strengths are, because there's 2 different types. Like in broadcasting, there's like 2 competitions they build up. There's I think it's announcement, they called it. Which is you write speeches, you write like a speech and you present it, and recitation, which is read something that's pre-written. Hana's not very good at writing stuff. She likes reading. And this essentially starts building into a talent versus what you want to do, which is a really cool premise to start building up at this point. That's, at least right now, that's what our big story thing is that Hana's really talented at reading stories, and girl who is the fucking worst really likes doing recitations, but she's really bad at it. At least like on a competitive level, she's a much better.
She's not bad. She's just like
No.
mid.
No, it's not even that. It's that her voice is more suited, as is her delivery to do broadcasting.
Yeah.
Because this is less of like a how skilled are you, and more of a do you have natural talent? Because the implication is she's good at recitation. It's just that she is being beaten out by people who have better natural voices for it. Is kind of the conversation they are bringing up here.
Yeah, and she is angry that Hana has a good voice for recitations, because Hana's really good at recitations, so like really good, at least generally, like pretty good, because she has a really good voice for it, and that's kind of what episode 2 and 3 start building up. Is she has a really good voice for it. She's not at all practiced in it. It's crazy. She hadn't done this yet. Her schools didn't have clubs. I mean, if they did, they had a member. So episode 2 ends with us meeting the the advisor for their club, who's also the co-advisor for the drama club. And he's very good at what he does, except he's also kind of a jackass. But he's kind of endearing the way he's a jackass.
Of course he is. I've never met a single person who runs a fucking public speaking club who isn't an asshat. That's just how it is.
And he's smug, but he also has like shit. It's like
he can back
when
it up.
someone talks shit, but they actually have the skill to back it up, and you're like, I can't really like say it's like, oh, I guess you could do it better, because he really can.
Yeah, but episode 3 focuses a lot on having Hana start practicing. She's taught like how to like properly use like project your voice, speaking from the diaphragm, things like that. And then we have bestie time with her and the club president. I mean, and we learn like how when the club president started, she got like why she's picking the recitation. She's doing recitation as well. We learn why she picked the piece she's going to be doing at this year's competition. I forgot. Episode 3's like entire big thing is Hana doesn't want to compete. or
Yeah.
does she? Because we essentially it's more of a she. As we build into it, it goes more of a now that she doesn't want to, she's scared of losing. She doesn't want to lose and have people think she's bad at what she's doing. She likes doing it. But when you put competition, she might get sour on it, be like, I don't know.
I believe her wording is, "This is the only thing I have that I think I am good at and have value in. If I lose at it, what the fuck does that mean for me?" Which is
Yeah,
a
and she
very
has-
real concern.
Yeah, because like her big thing right now, she has absolutely zero self-confidence, which is what they need to start building right now, and that's like kind of this show's big thing right now is a self-confidence thing between people. Yeah, I think this show's fucking great. I love this show. I think the recitation, I love what they do with the recitations with the visual. This is what I wanted my Master Has No Tail to be.
Yeah.
They started about telling stories, and the stories are like compelling. They do good visuals with them. I like it a lot. I realize, think about it, this show is slow. Almost nothing has happened in 3 episodes. She has joined a club and spoken 3 times, but like
I think
I like slow
episode
stories.
I think episode 3 in particular feels really slow. Which is perhaps my little caveat, which is why it's not top 3. Also, the things that are above it in my top 3, I'll talk about them. They're there for a reason. But no, I really adore what the show is doing so far. I love there is an argument you can make that if your point is to get recitation across, you wouldn't do the really cool imagery because ideally they should be making that appear in your own mind, but you're watching a fucking anime, so of course you're gonna get the really cool visuals. They fucking rule. They rock, and they match up with the readings really well. Like it pairs really well together. There's a lot of stuff here I really enjoy from like a technical side of it. I did not do like official public speaking like competition stuff when I was at university. I know people who did. I did do like poetry readings to people. You could argue the things you're shooting for are very similar. There are similarities, but like because poetry is not a competition innately, it can be, but what I'm talking about isn't. You don't have such strict form and rules you have to follow. So like when the advisor brings up the fact that every word has a correct not only pronunciation but the way you fucking say it,
Inflection.
inflection and enunciation.
Yep.
That is true. That is real. There is a guideline, there is a book. Does that mean that if you were to do this in your free time and you enunciated it differently, it would be incorrect and you should be burned at the stake? No. But when you're at a competition, yes, absolutely. And man, this is a show that I would really be interested to see how they do the dub for. Because I would be really curious just to see how they pick their translation of things and how they do the deliveries, because it'd be fun to see if they fuck it up at all. Because obviously it could be a little tricky to understand like when they are breaking down the enunciation stuff, because they're speaking in Japanese and you do not. But I think at least for me the point's still pretty clear with the example they give. I think they do a really good job of explaining it.
Kind of going. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, because
Like,
I'm gonna pivot.
yeah.
I'm gonna pivot to something
yeah,
else
so
later.
like kind of along those lines. Has nothing to do with like this is nothing at fault with the show. But one of the like minor gripes that I have that keeps me from getting like incredibly invested in it is like I am so absolutely tone deaf with like hearing like inflections and all those like important phonetic things when it comes to Japanese that like they'll say it slightly differently. I'm like, I have no idea. That sounded the same to me. I spent legitimately an hour and a half trying to like listen to the difference between like a Tokyo accent and a Kansai accent, and I could not tell the fucking difference. Like, that being said, I really do adore like the way that they've characterized main character, club president, and the advisor. And I think like the the Discord and relationships between bitchy girl and her rival that main girl was partnered up with, as well as the same thing between club president and advisor, are really really fun to watch as well.
I can't believe we're so down on her. I don't think she's that bad.
I don't think she's that bad.
In terms of
She's not that
in terms of
bad.
bitchy characters this
okay,
season,
okay.
oh my god, dude, she's like an
Yeah.
angel.
Okay, but I'm talking comparatively, and
Yeah.
I didn't know how to
Look,
fucking.
When everyone else
For
in this,
everyone else on
in
the
this show is
show.
the chillest person ever, except for deep
what
voice guy.
For what it's worth, she is like of this group. She seems like the only real competitor. She seems like she's the only person who's been on stage with people who like she's actively had to change her passions to be successful at the things she wants to compete at. That fucking sucks. But if you're serious, sometimes that's what you have to do. Like there's not a like I agree. She can be a little rough sometimes. But I don't necessarily think any of these characters are off to like a bad start with how they're being portrayed. The guy who she fights with a lot, I really like him because no matter where you fucking go in broadcast, you will have the guy who's the sound guy. Like he wants to do nothing on stage. Let the man back the fuck up and be the sound guy. Dude, he does that Foley work. He does that Foley work, and that shit's fucking phenomenal in episode 2.
It's so good.
Oh, it's wonderful.
I love when he like gets super excited about like over explaining it too, where he's like, no, see, that sounded like this. No, it was just like some tin foil and
that
like,
sound when that person died. I stabbed a cabbage. Base.
God,
stabbing a cabbage.
I saw that guy and I was immediately just like, yes, this is my comfort character in this show.
Like,
Thank you.
Hit me.
I also really like.
I agree with you guys. Like the show definitely has a lot of really good points to it. I think the characters really are like expressive. I just need more out of it because I get it's doing the anime thing where it's like you can visualize all this stuff, but I feel like at some point we should get a lot of that from the other characters too. We've gotten a lot of it from like the main character where it's just like, oh yes, she's just really naturally talented, but it's just very like raw, right?
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to see kind of like the it's the classic battle of like talent versus like hard work, except in this case we have the character who's like super talented as like the main character, which usually it's the like, oh, they just have a lot of interest and they work really hard at it character, right? So I guess we'll see, but yeah, I think this show's cute. The club president just going in and being like, nah, so you're gonna be in the club, and that's a decision we made for you. Congratulations.
I'm staying over at your house. You're staying over at my house.
She's standing on business.
I'm very happy that we took care of having a gay show on the podcast early.
Dude, we got so many this season. You don't gotta worry about it this season.
We got 2, at least that I can think of.
Yeah, it's at least half as many as we need.
I think we'll run every time one comes up. I think there's some arguments we can make. One of them's not reciprocated. TASOKARE, it's not reciprocated, but you can argue we're gay over there too.
Forgot about that. I did forget about that bit.
No, it's definitely reciprocated. Just Jesus doesn't know yet.
There are 2 other things I want to talk about with this show. The first is they did a really good job in episode 2 of subtly implying the dynamic between the club president and the other girl who's on that year. Because the implication is they have the same dynamic as Hana does with the new girl, where one of them has the innate talent and the other one's the hard worker. Mm-hmm. Which is not how that feels with how they set up episode 1 and 2. You would not necessarily expect that to be their dynamic.
But also, like, the club president came out and showed us, like, hey, man, I sucked last year. Anyways.
Yeah. And the other thing that I really liked, when they do their introductions of everybody else, those are really well done look at how those characters are, of, like, the type of... Because they are also drastically different type of introductions that it really they really do a great job of having those characterize the cast for you. If you're like paying close enough attention to how they all do their introductions, they're all entirely different ways of speaking and storytelling. It's great. I love it. I adore this show.
Show good.
Week 1 ratings are weird.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say about my rating. Like, listen, sometimes you just like kind of put stuff in places and you go, oh, that did end up like 7th. Oops.
Yeah, and then it's also one of those things. We've watched so much of this, and it took us like 3 weeks to get through watching these. Sometimes by
No.
the end of watching everything, I'm like, we'll get the. I'll be like, oh yeah, I did like that a lot more than I'm giving it credit for right
Yeah.
now because I finished it
Well,
closer.
sometimes
to
like
the
you watch it and
thing
go, you think back, you're like, I mean, she did just tell stories. Like, was it really that good?
Trying to
You
make
know?
sure. I tried to like.
Okay, this is the second to last thing I finished. So like,
This was like one of
I
the
tried to like
first things
make
I
sure my.
This is one of my first ones that I finished.
one of the first things that had stuff
yeah,
out.
I was holding this until the end to watch it with Sean, and then I watched it myself.
Yeah. Well, things got really complicated because I was ready to watch shit with Michael, and he goes, "Well, my mom wants to watch stuff," and I went, "What do you want me to do with that, Michael? I can't watch shows with you and your mom."
I do have to go now
Oh, that's
rewatch.
you.
Medalist
Yeah,
with
see,
her at
Amber
some
wanted to watch
point,
stuff with
but-
me, and then I got pneumonia, and then like our last 2 weeks have just been like, John, please don't die. And I'm like, I'm trying.
I mean, I guess technically, Michael, I could drive out to your house once every week, and we could just watch stuff. You, me, and your mom.
That'd
You're
be
not.
hilarious.
You're not that far.
I want to watch stuff with you guys and Michael's mom.
We'll talk about which shows Michael's mom was
What's the
watching.
midpoint for all of us?
Probably
Austin,
like
midpoint.
what, Ohio?
Cleveland. It's Cleveland, isn't it?
It's actually Austin.
It's probably Cleveland, right?
Well, Michael and I are basically we're literally like half an hour away, if even.
Yeah, I think it's about 45 minutes to get to where you are.
It's about, I want to say like 2.5, 3 hours for me to get to John, and then like 6 to get to Austin. So-
Yeah.
We'll have to triangulate.
Yeah,
We'll have to
I think
triangulate
I
this.
think it takes about 6 for us to cross Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Honestly, we'd probably
Yeah.
take a fucking plane, Michael. At this point, it's probably easier.
I don't know. This year going on planes is a little bit.
True,
Yeah,
true,
apparently.
true.
Might not be the best move.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, either way, show good.
topic
Sure,
change.
man.
Topic
Good
change.
so far.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh,
to,
we're talking about this now.
Let's
boy.
go to an absolute fucking banger. Hey, Austin.
Yeah, Austin, give us a banger.
So
For now, it's a banger for now.
Kaisha or can you keep a secret or I have a crush at work. However you want to call it. Although for our tested purposes, we're calling it I have a crush at work. For consistency. So Masagu and Yui, right? Is that
Yep.
her name? Yeah. Are coworkers and they decide to start dating. Boom. Show ends right there. No, this was the first like 5 minutes of the first like not even 5 minutes, this is the first like minute and a half of the show. And they're agreeing to keep their relationship a little bit on the down low from the other people in their office because they don't want to be like the subject of like rumors and gossip, and it's just a little bit of a pain. So even though they act like a little bit cold to each other at work and just like bicker a little bit, they're at home they're like super lovey-dovey, and they're talking about like, oh, what do we do about our relationship? How do we want to go about this? We're gonna put on masks like when we're on dates with each other so that people don't recognize us and stuff. The second part of episode 1 is like very that's like 3 individual parts per episode. Are them like meeting up in an office elevator, and their coworkers are like, "Yeah, Tatsuishi's or Masuku's a great guy. What do you think, Yui?" And she's like, yeah, he's okay, I
guy.
guess. Fuck, he's
Fucking hate
kind
that
of
guy."
weird, but I don't know. But then like the elevator fills up, and they're like, "Well, no one's gonna see us now, because they're going down like 9
Floors.
floors." And so they just like hold hands a little bit in the elevator, and just like, "Oh, I got my recharge," smile. And in the last part of the episode, Masuku and Yui go on an actual date. We do get to see the date where they go see a movie, and on their way out of the movie, they run into like a coworker of theirs from a different branch who's like, "Oh, I didn't expect to see you guys there. Come, let's all have dinner together." And Masuku's getting a little bit jealous because like this person is someone that was like important to Yui when she was coming out of college and joining the company at first. And they're just like, oh, I like, and they're both be like, I could tell him, and Yui's just like, please don't. And as they're both leaving, they're like, oh, take care, I'm gonna go back to my hotel. And then he gives them a wink. He just winks at them, like, and they're like, oh shit, he knows, he knows. And then they go home. They bang.
I want
Oh,
you
yeah,
to.
they fucked.
I want you to
Someone,
know.
maybe?
I want you to know. The show did the cut. I audibly went, and then they fucked, and then it cut, and then the cut resolves to them in bed. I went, fuck yeah, we did it.
I'm trying to remember what exactly happens in each episode. In each episode, so I don't mix it up.
Episode
Episode
2.
2 was
Their other coworker finds out.
Yeah.
I believe.
yeah. So
He was
first,
introducing the two main coworkers. the
yeah.
two, like,
So
big side ones.
Masuku is in the accounting department, and Yui is in the planning department of the confectionery Japanese sweets company. And Yui's just like trying to find inspiration and try to like get feedback on her products. So she goes to one of Masuku's coworkers who secretly runs like a really cute like Instagram of sweets to get her opinion. And she ends up like talking and the coworker ends up talking about how like relatively reliable Masuku is. And he was like, yeah, I feel that too. It's a little bit too excited. And the coworker's like, no, I'm not interested in them, don't worry about it. And you can see Yui just like bubbling. It's like, oh, I almost let that slip a little bit, I'm not sure.
She's so bad at hiding this.
She's so
She's
bad at hiding
so
this. It's
dumb.
so funny.
We love her. We love our idiot.
And then they go to they all go to a drinking party with all the coworkers from like different departments. And the two departments end up being at the same place. And they start drinking, and Yui drinks a lot and has to just like sit down and like curl up in the fetal position by the bathroom while Masuku goes and like a good person goes and checks on her and just like pats her on the back. And she starts getting all cuddly, and then suddenly like one of their coworkers just like pops out of the bathroom. It's like, yeah, I heard all that. You guys are totally dating, aren't you?
Yeah, but he was cool.
And then Masuku talks to him and just like, hey, can you keep it secret? And he's like, yeah, I guess this is really troublesome. I don't know, it's not worth it's not something I want to get involved in anyway. And then at the start of the next episode, Yui's just very is like on edge around him because Some is also in the planning department with Yui. And she what happens there?
They wind up getting left alone.
Yeah, they might have. Yeah, because their like their supervisor had to like rush out for a meeting or something. And they like sort of talk it out, and everything's fine. There's a little cute like section with the donuts with donuts where Masuku just buys donuts for Yui, thinking, yeah, she'll like them, and they just have like a cute little like moment, and then they go to a baseball game together. Totally.
Before that, they get trapped in the filing cabinets together.
Oh yeah, the filing cabinets.
The filing rooms together.
Yeah, filing cabinet. Yeah, there's a lot there's actually like a lot that happened in this episode.
That's just a typical you got trapped in a room, except they don't actually get locked in.
They're just like locking themselves because as they're like in there, even not actually doing like too taboo of things. Her coworkers come in and they're like, oh, we gotta hide, even though they don't really need to hide. And then they just get really embarrassed about the position they're in because they're all just like cramped, like they're in a locker room or like they're in a locker or something. And then they go to a baseball game, do a very poor job at hiding it there too.
But it's okay, 'cause
But
everybody
Not
loves
their fault they were sat next to each other.
Yeah.
everybody loves baseball too much for it to matter.
Yeah.
Let's go baseball. Let's go.
Let's go Mets.
One more month, baby. Sign Alex
And-
Bregman, Pizza Man. Sign Alex Bregman, motherfucker. Anyways,
And yeah, that's episode 3.
Yeah, Masagu just turns into John for a minute, and she's just like, yeah, she's like, I knew you liked baseball, but I didn't know you loved baseball. He's like, I fucking love
I just
baseball.
want to say
dude.
the more I watch the show, the more I go, this is just me and my fiance, and I hate it.
I was literally thinking about you two the entire
It's
time.
like
I was
just like
watching
at the
fucking
baseball
show.
game. It's just like, you like baseball a lot, huh? And I'm just like, yep, this is how it goes.
So this is a very, very off topic, but when John and Amber were first like, together,
Feeling
John,
stuff out.
our friend Annie and I went to we went to round 1 because we were just like fucking off, or I don't remember what exactly we were doing. And he's like, "Oh, I've got tea to tell you guys," and I was like,
I don't remember
"Okay,
this.
cool. Tell me later, right?" And then he's like, "I'm kind of going out with Amber." I was like, "Yeah, I figured as much." And he's like, "You're not surprised? What do you mean?" I was like, I kind of guessed it.
I didn't think
not gonna lie."
I didn't think anyone would be surprised, to be honest.
Yeah, but also, I also like live 4 hours away and didn't see you guys that much at that time.
Yeah,
In
but Austin, you're based.
I have two quick things to say about this show. I really, sorry, 3, because I just remembered something. I really like this show. Why the fuck does OP have the sickest electrical guitar I've ever goddamn heard?
Right.
What the fuck is going on over there? This OP rules for no reason. They fucking shred that guitar. 2, I love me just a good solid adult romance. Crazy, can't believe it. That's all,
Right?
that's truly
They're
all
just-
you need.
They go out
Yeah.
drinking and they
Like-
just like each other
And
and
they-
they support each other and they both work and they're functioning members of society.
Quick
And their
thing on
biggest
that.
drama is not letting it find out at work. Ooh, and they're really bad at it.
I'm really glad you mentioned that, Sean, because literally I watched the first episode of this with Cody in the room, and I was just like, I guess adult romance is just my favorite genre now. Like,
Nothing wrong with
they're
it.
all good. There's never a problem with it.
The
I
other
see
point,
no-
the other point I'm gonna make, viewers, keep in mind everything we just went over for this show, and we're gonna go over for this show. For when we get to the end of this podcast, and we talk about another romance show, and how similar things are, and how yet my opinion on it is going to be so drastically different. Because these two shows are so close in premise, and yet somehow, I can tell you what the problem is, yet somehow, the other one fucks it up. The supporting cast is great too. I like these characters so far.
Yes.
I'm really excited to see what this show does.
I really enjoy his manager that is just always trying to get them to go drinking. She's great. I love her.
They're like, yes, we'll go drinking. What is it?
Like,
It's so good.
It's nice. They listen to each other when they talk. They like bring things to each other that they know they like. Like they're living a life that's just comfortable and
They're
nice.
just two idiots.
Yeah.
She's adorable.
this is what-
He's a guy.
This is what I wanted Ice Guy and his cool female colleague to be.
Fuck, you're right.
Yeah, this is like senpai as in the workplace one, not
Yeah,
not
my
the
senpai
high,
is annoying.
not the high school one. Except you don't have like a weird height difference thing that might make it awkward if someone walks in. This is just a flat, straight adult romance that you have no worries about, besides maybe a sex scene popping in. But even then, they didn't do it episode 1. I think
You're
we're
like, oh
safe.
shit, they're fucking.
Yeah.
Oh shit, they fucking.
They just do it. They do it
just-
off screen for you. It's
That line about, look, I said your name enough last night just fucking killed me.
Dude, she's so fucking funny.
they're wild.
She is.
I love them.
I
They're
love her
so
so
good.
much, even though she's the biggest dingus about getting them figured out.
Oh, I also really do like also him going to her house and being like, "Damn, a room that's decorated." Yeah, you got it.
Be
You
nice to
got
have
us
one of
there.
those.
You got us there. Because I can't tell you the amount of times that I had people come over to our college dorm and they'd be like, "You guys hang fucking nothing on your walls," and we're like, "Everything we
Yeah,
need
we're
is
guys.
everything we need is attached to our TV. I don't know what you want from us."
We had rugs.
We had rugs. We had a nice dining room table no one else had.
You guys had rugs? Must be nice.
You guys
We
get
had a
some of them
we had a
there,
balcony.
rugs?
That's also nice.
Yeah, this is an odd show. It feels like there should be more to talk about because somebody must have it so high, and it's just like no, it's just good. It's just quality
just good.
content.
It's
Michael,
it's just comfy, like good wholesome time.
you have it middle of the
Yeah, I
pack,
mean-
Michael. That means nothing. But if you want to elaborate,
I mean, there is technically something if you like look specifically at where I have it placed. That, like technically, there's something to talk about there. That I have it as, of the 4 rom-coms, I have it at number 3.
I don't think it says much, though, I'll be honest.
I mean, I only really
Like the show's good. The show's cute. When some of these other shows hit me with like TASOKARE is literally just be going, aha, funny visual novel, hee hee. Flower and Asura hits me with some bullshit, and Medalist is the fucking masterpiece that it is when we get to that. This show just kind of plopped down there, and I think it's cute. It's a good show.
I think for me,
That's about my opinion. It's a cute show.
I think for me, what like put it into top 3 for me was that I watched all 3 episodes of it, and every time I got done with it, I was like, damn. Not only do I want to watch the next episode, but like I'm not like bored, uninterested, and I don't have like a small gripe with anything about it. This is just a good show. Like, and sometimes this early on, just being a good show's good enough. Just being like an above bar show works. Oh. Man, I'm so excited to talk about shows this season, cause boys, this is a show to talk about. Hey Mason, it's ZENSHU time.
So ZENSHU. ZENSHU follows a character named Natsuko Hirose, who is an animator at Definitely Not Mappa, we promise.
What do you mean? She only dies in the first episode.
Yeah,
Sorry,
so
what's her name again? They only said it like 45 times. So
And they're not gonna stop, John, so you
They're
better
not
get
going
used to
to.
it. This is a fantasy show.
Sorry, what's your name again?
Natsuko Hirose.
Got it.
She is very overworked because she will not let anyone else do any of her animating. She is very like set in stone in what she wants for her movie that she is putting out, and doesn't really sleep that much, and is given a clam lunch by her president that no one bothered to check and see if it was expired, and it turns out it's like 4 years expired, and she chokes on it and dies.
Maybe also
And she wakes-
poisoned? Maybe also poisoned?
Maybe. We don't exactly know. And she wakes up in the world of one of her favorite shitty movies from her childhood called A Tale of Perishing. And A Tale of Perishing is essentially just a like weird amalgamation of like all of the 90s anime that are fantasy, and that includes Berserk. And it's just kind of like every trope ever we're going to make fun of in a very like in a way that is very clearly like care, in my opinion, of like
Yeah.
respect of the time before, but also, hey, this is some shit.
In my opinion, they probably should have not done 1 or 2 of them so I didn't have to deal with it every episode, but we'll talk
Yeah.
about it.
And at first, Natsuko doesn't believe that she's dead. She just believes that she's dreaming or is just in a weird, like, cosplay convention. And then...
Wild opinion, by the way, in the middle of a fucking desert, and she thinks she's on a
Yeah.
cosplay convention.
She meets up with people known as the 9 heroes. There are not 9 of them.
Yet.
Anyone can become a 9 hero.
Yeah. No, there are 9 of them. They say they have 9 because they make the point later that if she joins, that would break the naming convention. They're just not all fucking here.
Yeah, okay.
I guess, they say.
And the thing about this being one of her favorite movies from her childhood is that she's watched it so many times, she knows the exact plot of it from front to back. Which is really great considering this world is fucked and it's about to die. the end of the world is about to happen. And because she knows what's going to happen, she can help them stop it from happening, how the plot normally goes. Also, she has the power sometimes to just become like a super animator and make a construct from what she draws to save the day in a really neat animation sequence, and then pass out for 3 days. Because usually it's something that would take her 3 days to make.
Yeah, that sounds like Mappa logic.
Yeah, exactly. Do 3 days of work in a minute and a half, and then promptly just die.
And
for a
also,
while.
claim that everything she's drawn would only take 3 days. Yeah, Mappa, I believe you.
Yeah, totally.
Very realistic for actual animators. They do all the work in about 1 day that they should have done over the course of like 3 months, and then they pass out for 3 days to compensate.
But just this entire the first 3 episodes are about her kind of like getting settled into the new world, meeting these characters. Notably, we have the main party of the 9 heroes that we get so far, which is, and I have them at this point. It is Luke Braveheart. Great name. that is a Tales of name through and through. Memelin, who is the elf, the token elf.
If you couldn't tell from the name.
Yeah.
Remember
Unio, who is a unicorn and the mascot character, and also the Sanji character, and also the comedy relief character.
So the mascot character.
And also the piece of shit.
So the mascot character.
Yeah, it's just Tipo.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It's really just Tipo. And then we have QJ, who is a token robot. Because they have that in this fantasy world.
Well, of course.
So
they get to know the voids are coming.
And we have a character.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes. when he works.
I mean, he's just conveniently asleep every time it's an important event.
And then also,
but they call that out.
Yes, the best character.
Yes, and then also we have the character that gets introduced at the tail end of episode 2 and is focus of episode 3, Destiny, who is just female love interest trope. .jpeg.
Big booba, scantily clad female love interest.
But also has a heart of gold and just wants to build an orphanage for the kids.
The merchandise character.
Yes. Who, as Natsuko loves to point out, is also the root cause of literally every problem that happens in this movie. Because she's just kind of a walking accident.
Yep.
And yeah, we do certainly get to see that throughout these episodes. Overall, this show, I have it as high as I do just because, for one, I think the satire of it's really funny. For 2, those animation sequences, while we do get the same draw sequence every single episode, which for one I think is funny.
Yeah, no, also good. Don't make
it's like a magical girl transformation.
Don't make the animators. Don't make the animators have to draw an entirely new drawing sequence every episode.
No.
Thank Christ, I'm so happy that, but you're saving somebody at least an arm. Oh my god.
But also, these animation sequences that she does afterwards, where she finishes the drawing, are so sick. They're so cool.
Look, man, there's a Lucha Libre wrestler one. What do you want me to do with it? This show is
was
pandering directly to me.
Also,
this is
Destiny's
unfair.
Destiny becoming a wrestling fan after this happens is wonderful,
Well,
honestly.
So, this is the really cool thing I think about this show. That, So, part of the reason it isn't top 3 for me is because there are characters and elements that I think are graining and bad. Unio being one of the major factors of that.
Mm-hmm.
The hope is, and I'm actually really hopeful. No, unfortunately, we made the mistake of preventing that tragedy.
Yeah, true.
I said, you can ask Michael. I said it to him. I said, we shouldn't have done this, Michael. This was a mistake. My hope is that they are actively taking Destiny in a different direction than they explain her character is. Like, we have already given her agency, and she is now making her own choices. And she might actually become, like, a competent brawler character. Like, she might
Which
actually
I'm so
fight.
here for.
Like, that's rad as
Brawler.
fuck.
Because female brawlers are the best type of characters, let's be honest.
Yeah,
I-
no. Like, I'm
I
a
love
little
the
hopeful.
idea that this builds is that Yunio was supposed to be initially in the plot of the movie a catalyst for a sad moment. Because though you hate Yunio, you're supposed to go, oh, Luke, or I think it was Luke,
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah.
really likes Yunio. They're childhood friends, the man and small horse, whatever.
Important mascot.
Because Yunio's alive, you get to witness Yunio being the fucking worst for the whole movie instead of just for the first 5 minutes. I think it's hilarious.
Oh.
It's a
that's the
really good
concept.
bit.
It is.
That it's
I
a
still
normally has a
fucking
really
can't
bad
stand
bit,
him.
Has a really epic death scene. And it's like a really sad moment. It's like, just kidding.
I mean,
Yunio's
yeah.
just the worst.
They build
Suffer.
they build him up to have a fucking casting Ultima moment, and like,
Yeah,
what do
it's
you
sick.
want?
Yeah, it's so cool.
Do
Like,
we have to save him?
So, I don't remember episode 1 well enough to remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure her animating powers trigger whenever Luke's in danger, is the idea. Because while he's not in direct danger in episode 1, if Yunio dies, his life spirals, and I think that's close
Mhm.
enough to count.
It could
Seems like
arguably
this
be if
entire,
the
like,
nine is
movie
in
has
danger.
been
We could maybe
Luke's
get
no
from
good,
this
very
point,
bad
but-
day, to be fair.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Also, I appreciate that this show doesn't try to hide any of the like, because she knows the story. The show doesn't have to hide the twists. Like, we know Memelin's a traitor at this
Yeah.
point. Michael and I talked about this. She obviously isn't saying this yet because there's no fucking way anyone would believe her if she just outwardly spilled that out to them.
There's also no reason to yet because
Yeah,
she's still
right.
quote unquote helpful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, she'll just deal with it when the time comes. And obviously, I imagine this is a character who, if this was a good movie, would probably rejoin the party after betraying them. But maybe she doesn't in the original, and that'll be the twist here.
I can't wait for her to be Zelos.
Michael had a fun moment watching this show. Do you know what
Well,
I'm referring to, Michael?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if it's the thing I was about to mention, maybe. But I mean, episode 3 starts doing a thing that I thought that I had made a mention.
Yeah.
Me and watching episode 2. I was like, I can't wait till we get to the point where the consequences of her actions, essentially, where the story starts to change because of things she's done. Which we get in episode 3, where the doppelganger shows up, and she says, like 3 months early or something in the timeline.
Yeah.
Or like a month early. Like it is very much way before where this is supposed to be happening.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff
Also,
that's
that's
like,
really silly. I love the setup with the fake one.
It's
I don't
so
remember
good.
what the bit is, but I know she like
they
yells
both just walk in
something,
together and then
everyone's
they
just
look
like
at each other.
yelling
Wait a
back at
minute.
her.
Can you dance? Only the real one can dance. Fucking this is the most abysmal dogshit fantasy I've ever seen, and I love the fact that she loves abysmal dogshit fantasy as much as I do, and so we can all
It's
enjoy
so
it together.
Good.
And it's just like like the absolute satire of everything. It's just it's so done. It's done so well. I do really like how early they're addressing like, yeah, things are changing because of your actions. You know, besides whole having to deal with the stupid
Having to deal with Unia.
fucking piece of shit. But like things changing early is like getting addressed early is really really cool, and I think how they approach it in like episode 4, and you know how they how much the story changes is gonna like really gauge or really determine how much interest how much I keep enjoying this show.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the show's done a good job of like presenting its plot and like actually making it interesting. When originally I thought it was not going to be as invested in kind of the ongoings of it as I am. Like I said, I do like a lot of the characters in the show, and I think it's doing a good job of like, hey, this character sucks, and that's okay because here's why they suck.
Yeah.
Yes. I do enjoy that, like, it does not hide the fact that most of these characters are just the worst kind
They're
of
terrible,
people.
trashy fantasy characters.
They're just awful.
I will say the thing that like the show's obviously doing that like I don't think it's doing satirically is the whole Luke is falling for her, and that is
Mhm.
going to be the thing that saves him. And like, so there are elements of this show still that like that I'm like, okay, overcome this and make me enjoy what you're doing. Another fun thing that happened while we were watching it is Michael went, Sean, the reason I'm not fully on board on immediately desecrating Momentary Lily with like a Gatling gun on the podcast is because it does dumb bullshit I'm not ready for. And then episode 3 of this happened, and Michael went, maybe I don't need it. Maybe this will do it for me. Maybe this will do it for me. We started watching a tiger mask fucking do a dragon suplex. And he was like, I guess this is
King
cool.
from Tekken fought like the king of the voids.
Yeah.
Or like a void mothership. It's like, oh, crazy.
It's actually just playing King.
I like the creativity of how it's solving stuff, and the show immediately goes, no. You can't just use the same thing over and over again. That'd be too fucking easy, and it'd be really great for our budget, but it'd be really fucking boring for the show. So you got to create something brand new to deal with every problem. So the first one's like giant Mechazord comes in and saves the day, and she's like, oh, I'll just do that shit again. That was perfect. And then the game goes, no, fuck that shit. Do something different. She's like, fucking squiggly scoogly man's gonna come and save the day.
Heat-seeking missiles.
And then the third one, she's like, no, I got the perfect one for this. Fucking Macho Libre is gonna come in here and fucking ding ding.
The drawing pen's personality is actually so funny.
It's so good.
I just
love that the different like characters have different like personalities too and stuff. And like, each different drawing has been like completely like vastly different from each other, right?
Yes.
It's almost like you get a different artist to do each individual one, and it feels super like rewarding when it pays off in the end.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's like the bad character's bad, the good characters are good. It's fantasy. They're not trying to hide anything. It's like character comes in and like, my machinations are going to go undetected as I sneakily sneak around in the cutscene, and you're just like, she knows the answer. We know the answer.
I'm so happy to have arrived at the Chex Notes last town. What a great name for the location.
I also just love that, like, at the end of it, she just goes, hey, what were you doing yesterday when we were fighting that villain with Nacho Libre? You missed all the fun. They're like, idiot. She was in the choir singing, clearly. Didn't you hear the singing that nobody heard anywhere or heard of?
Also, oh my god, I can't believe I almost forgot about this. This show has one of the greatest OST tracks of all time, where it quietly sings ZENSHU. This song fucking rules so much. And they have two versions of it. They have one that's like more somber and quiet, and they have one that's like that. It's like exciting and building up the moment.
Can we talk about how absolutely ridiculous though it looks whenever like they're fighting like these like fantasy battles, and he's just like swinging his sword around, the robot's shooting lasers, then it's like poof, desk. They're like, hurry up, and she's like working on it, like checking it to make sure it's like animating properly.
Man,
Oh, it's so funny.
we're killing John slowly.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I will
This
say,
is the best I've been in 2 weeks.
Not after the night.
Natsuko's English voice actress is doing a great job. The dub is her
Dub's actually pretty good. I like it.
really good.
I can't watch the dub because I'm afraid Yunio's gonna make me want to kill him even more. I'm afraid that voice is whatever the voice he has. I'm afraid I'm just gonna drive me up a wall even more than the sub one does.
Hi kids, let's go.
I can't risk it.
Artist.
Let's see what this person's done. They're the voice actors for Nami in the Funimation dub of One Piece.
I don't hear that. I don't need that cursed.
They've done a lot.
That's just pretty good.
Man. Also, this opening's by Bandmade.
Yeah. And the ending's by So.
Yeah. Sorry, forgive me for not mentioning the goat and ED by So. God, it rules.
So good.
It's Miko's voice actor.
I can't
Fuck.
express how cool it is, by the way,
Legendary dub.
that you have what would normally be the sad love interest girl walking through the ED, but instead it's Luke Braveheart. That shit rules.
It's so
that it's him.
good.
That it's him instead. That rocks. Because that's what that ED would normally be. Would be the sad female love interest walking through this fantasy show. and yet somehow I still have shows that I think are better than ZENSHU. And we're about to talk about one of them for me. Let's roll on in to Sakamoto Days. So I'm gonna be frank with you. I've watched this subbed and dubbed.
Same here.
Because I started watching it dubbed because I know who's in this dub cast, and I'm desperately waiting for fucking Alexa Bliss from WWE to be voicing a character in this dub cast. I'm so excited to hear how she does in this role. Also, Matt Mercer's here, and Alex Lee is here, and fucking everybody in the goddamn industry is in this.
Sakamoto, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yes,
Fuck,
he is.
I know this voice and I hate it because I can't place it right now because
Yep.
I was just so fucking like dead all week watching this stuff, and I was like, fuck, hate that.
One of the things
Like,
I will say,
good for him. He's
I
dope, but-
got two things quick about the dub before I hop into the actual show. The voice actor who voices Shin, really interesting voice for this character. A really unique style of character voice I have not really heard before. He did the live action Netflix Zuko. That is what he's that is who this is. He's not done anything else to my knowledge, like animation wise. So this is like foot in the door. I like him. I think he does a really good job here.
I like the dub of voice a little bit more for him, honestly.
I think the goons in episode 2 are unfortunately I really
couldn't get through episode 2 dub.
I had to swap to sub.
Switch to sub in
And
episode 2.
and you know what? It's not the female character's fault. It's not any of the main cast. It's just I couldn't handle how goonish the goons are. It's just
no, for me it was specifically like the Goku
They were so
Roachai or
extra
whatever, the
goony.
guy in charge of the goons. I could not stand his
Yeah.
dub voice. I was like, okay,
this was
I know
very
what they're going for. I'm good at.
this was very 4Kids Yu-Gi-Oh dub. Like these two dudes gave me Paradox vibes and like
Yeah.
the rare hunters from the rare hunter like Sun and Moon dude. Like I couldn't
Well-
handle these.
Well, Sean, we got the rare hunter in episode 3.
Well, yes, also where so Sakamoto Days follows Sakamoto, who used to be the world's greatest hitman, and then he fell in love, got married, and said, "Fuck that shit, I have a daughter." And his wife went, "Hey, no more killing." And unlike every other wife in any anime, she actually succeeded in her job and convinced this man to settle down and go non-lethal on people's ass. However, Shin the Clairvoyant has been tasked with the mission of tracking down Sakamoto and killing him if he does not come back to the organization, because he left the organization. You do not leave assassin organizations ever. You just aren't allowed to ever leave assassin organizations. That's just a rule. And Shin shows up and goes, "Damn shit, he's actually a really cool guy, and he's kind of still got it. I don't really want to do this. He was kind of like a mentor to me." And the assassin organization goes, "Okay, Shin, you're gonna regret that decision." And he actively goes to them and he's like, "Yeah, just like kill me though. You don't really need to get rid of him. You could just pretend like we didn't find him. Just like kill me. My death will make up for it." And then the guys mentally go, "Yeah, fuck that. We're about to waste him." And he goes, "You're an idiot, dude. I read minds." And starts kicking the shit out of them until he gets outnumbered. And then Sakamoto drops in because he slipped a fucking tracking device onto Shin's pistol. God. I think the action in this show is cool.
The best way I saw of explaining this show is just John Wick if his wife never died.
That's pretty good. Episode 2, at the end of the episode, Shin's like, "I don't really have any reason left to live. I'm not really doing this job anymore."
Or I'm skipping town.
Yeah, and Sakamoto goes, "No, you're not. Put on this fucking apron, dude. You're gonna work in my convenience store that I run," because Sakamoto runs a convenience store that also doubles as like a fucking, he hits a button and everything switches to assassination gear. It's rad as fuck.
Real quick, do you guys see the image that is just like Yor and a bunch of other like characters from like Baki and a bunch of other stuff, and it's just like the world's safest convenience store?
And so episode 2, Shin and Sakamoto go out to go get some meat buns for the family to treat his daughter. And a girl falls out of a window and crushes the meat buns. And Sakamoto, being the gentleman he is, realizes the problem's not with this girl, it's with the Chinese mafia chasing after her. And steps in to get revenge for his meat buns and help her out.
No. Let's be clear, Sean. The clear problem was the meat buns were gonna make his daughter sad because they weren't gonna be there. So he needs someone else to make efficient Chinese
Well,
meat
yes.
buns, but he's already hit his purchase limit for the day. So he's gotta save this girl from the mafia so she can make him family meat buns.
We find out that the Chinese mafia has killed her entire family, and she has the singular key to the family treasure vault, and that's why they're after her. So they send two of the most goons I've ever seen, who fight with a steel chakram, and I don't even remember what the other guy has.
A sword.
A sword? Is he just
They're
a sword?
swords.
Yeah.
He had
It's
two
just a
swords.
sword.
It's
They're
with, like,
just-
the cut in the middle. They're like the
Yeah,
ones that
they're
that
just-
guy uses. In
But those are
Demon
the
Slayer.
those are the yeah. So they're just psychopaths who just murder people in cold blood with no remorse. And so they kick Sakamoto into a building, and they're like, "Cool, that's one down." And Shin goes, "You don't understand who you're fucking with." And I should get her actual name, huh?
Lu Xiaotong.
Thank you.
Oh, that was like Fame.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
So Lu's like, who are you people? What's going on? Also, I can fight this fight. And they go, no, actually, you really probably shouldn't. Just for the sake of the fact of, you're not trained to kill people. I mean, we're not going to kill him, but you're not trained to kill people. And so Sakamoto slams this guy with a fridge and slaps him with a frying pan and kicks the ever-living shit out of these two. And then they go and they let Lu handle the head of the mafia boss. And they go on and they see what her family's left behind, where it's just every single member of her family has always left one thing in the vault for each other, and her dad left her alcohol to drink when she got of age, and so she just shares it with Sakamoto and Shin. And then she also joins them to work in the convenience store. And episode 3 starts, and we find out she's bad at it. She's never worked a real job in her life, and her dad kind of babied her through it, and so she just throws shit wherever, including detergent in the fridge, and Shin is losing his goddamn mind. And he goes, boss man, Sakamoto, you gotta stop her. And Sakamoto starts talking to them out loud a lot, and they go, this is weird. He's really talkative today. I can't even really read his thoughts, he's so talkative. And then Sakamoto walks into his own convenience store and stares at Sakamoto. And we are introduced to the character Nagamo, who's voiced by Alex Lee in the dub. And Nagamo goes, hey, I'm just here to let you know, people are coming to kill you. Like, really good hitmen are coming to kill you. And then a pizza guy walks in and goes, would you like your pizza? And then holds 2 pizza
They're like,
cutters
sweet,
up
pizza at 2 a.m.
holds 2 pizza cutters up to Lu's throat and goes, no, it's Nagamo's. Up to Nagamo's throat and goes, I will kill her. What the fuck is his name?
It's like Pika Nakadashi. His name's Pizza something.
Yeah.
It's fucking
No
No one
hilarious.
expected Pizza Jim to show up and kill
Yeah.
you.
The dub, it's like Pizza Joe. It's silly.
No, I
The
want to say
most, like,
it is.
pizza man.
Oh, I think I may have switched back to the dub in the middle of that episode. I was like,
Oh.
wait a second, I do want to hear these characters dubbed.
So
Nobody expected Big Caesars to show up.
yeah, so this man gets this man gets absolutely wasted in a non-lethal way, as they've explained now that the Sakamoto family rule is that you're not allowed to kill anybody. Please stop killing people. Because once when Sakamoto was a real hottie and not just an older chubby hottie like he is now, when he was a real smoking hot hottie, his at that point soon to be wife was like, hey, you're covered in blood.
Again.
That's fucked. Stop killing people. And he goes, this is my job. What do you want me to? And she goes, okay, I'm gonna jump off of this building into a bunch of snow. And he goes, why would you do this? And jumps after her. And he goes, fine, if it stops you from almost dying, I will stop killing people. And so now everybody who works at the store also has to abide by this non-lethal rule. And Nagamo goes, I don't know if you're gonna be able to get through this. Not killing people, dude. Good luck. And then disappears with the pizza guy. At which point we cut to the world's most sinister coffee table, where a bunch of people are watching him and they're just like, this dude's retired. What are we worried about? As we have a janitor and a weird dude who has some good vibes. And then, and they're like, look, I don't think we have too much to worry about. And the guy in charge is like, no, this is Sakamoto. You have to be worried. And then Sakamoto shoots the webcam hidden in the pizza box. And they go, what the fuck did he just do? And then Sakamoto had forgotten that he promised his daughter to go to an amusement park. And so they go to an amusement park. And the premise of rest of episode 3 is protecting his family at an amusement park while 2 assassins try to kill him. Sakamoto quickly stabs one of them with a pen non-lethally. And then the other one has such good vibes that he cannot have his mind read, and hops on a roller coaster with them to shoot Sakamoto from the back, which doesn't work because he wears bulletproof glasses. and the only way he was gonna shoot him was through the side of the face. He had a good plan, I promise you. To which Shin has an even better plan, which is to unlatch his safety harness, jump out at the loop-de-loop, take the assassin out of the roller coaster, down onto the tracks, and fight him. Shin then gets poisoned and starts to lose his vision, and then does a sick backflip onto a roller coaster still, and then reads Sakamoto's mind from like a good distance away, and Sakamoto's like, "Hey, the bunny's about to be on stage. Let's initiate a great plan." And so they crash through the stage. Shin disguises himself as this bunny and then starts kicking the shit out of the assassin because Sakamoto is silently relaying him every move he should make from the stands. To which his wife goes, goes to her daughter, "Look, honey, your daddy loves this show." And it's adorable,
so
and I
invested.
love them. And that's this. Shin is still poisoned by the end of this episode. I'm sure he's
Yeah.
fine.
I think one of my
Well,
favorite bits of this show, though, is every time Shin does something that's dumb, Sakamoto just thinks of the ways to kill him. He's like, "Could you stop thinking of ways to kill me?"
I love the bit of him breaking his glasses when he gets stressed, especially after he's wearing bulletproof glasses this whole time reveal. It's just fun.
This is the
It
most...
shows with all the little things, right, man? It's so funny.
I understand perfectly how this has so many chapters in Shonen Jump, because this is like
Yep.
such the typical Shonen Jump structure of what feels like 15, 20 years ago. There's a style choice to this show that I adore, in that like I've heard people talk about it. They're like, "Well, Sakamoto Days doesn't look as good as this, or that." And I go, Sakamoto Days still looks fucking incredible from a stylistic standpoint. They are animating the show exactly the way they want to. I love the way the backgrounds look in this show.
Yeah.
They it's not super high, high fidelity, like killer animation like Blue Box was, but like it's the choices they make for how this show looks are incredible. I love it.
The way that they do the actual like visual gag of Sakamoto killing Shin in his mind is some like just top-notch framing and cinematography.
It's so good.
I like what they're doing with it. You know, obviously it's a shonen, so naturally they've got to do the good old we've got to introduce everybody like
One at a time.
one at a time until we get to the meat of the show. But and yes, the whole sequence on top of the roller coaster was extremely goofy.
I love it though. It's so
dumb, and I love it so much.
But I personally did prefer the whole like bunny fight. That I thought that was really entertaining, the way that they ended up
I
going
still love
about it.
Sakamoto
But
does
yeah, I'm
everything,
very
man.
excited.
He's just so fucking funny. Like, and like you said, like, how's he gonna get out of the situation? Left, right, uppercut, gut punch, dodge left, dodge right. He's like, how is he doing it?
His eyes are closed.
But
I think part of it is specifically the physical comedy of Sakamoto is just so good.
his fucking cheeks when they
He
just
doesn't
move.
have.
the slapstick aspect of a lot of it too. It's just
Yes.
everything just lands with the show. I feel like, you know.
Yeah.
And that's it. I do think
like
like
you
it
said, like,
has.
I'm excited to see more characters getting involved in it.
Yeah, it definitely has like the slower, early Shonen Jump, like Shonen build up that can be a little bit of like a you have to get through this first.
We certainly are doing the monster of the week, but it's an assassin this time.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't
Which
necessarily
is
imagine.
fine.
I don't necessarily imagine has to stop. I mean, it's a cool
But
premise.
that's
and,
okay.
And the stronger you get, the longer these arcs can run. I like Marriage Toxin a lot for a reason. That shit rules.
Exactly.
I now understand why when I started reading Kill Blue, a lot of things when I started reading Kill Blue were like, I can't believe we have this and Sakamoto Days running in the same magazine. Because I can see a couple of things. Kill Blue's a lot more slice of life, I would argue, than Sakamoto Days feels. At least right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
The show's great.
Opening slaps.
Yeah.
I think it ends
We
a
got
little.
Bondi,
It ends a little abruptly,
so.
but it slaps.
Mm.
I'm really excited to meet the rest of this.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
I watch this opening and I see the character role, and I can't help but look at this character design and go and just feel like there's heavy inspiration from Hunter x Hunter at times, because there are just certain characters in
Yeah.
that role where I'm like, you're a Hunter x Hunter character, 100%. I believe it.
I will say, by the way, if I get up and start stamping around, it's because I'm having joint pain from my pneumonia now, and so I just need to like move sometimes.
Well, John, we're about to make
Somewhat
your
help,
we're about to
but-
make we're about to make your life more difficult. It's time to
I
talk
know,
about
I
how
gotta
you
name a
live
lot
in-
of characters because mine has a lot.
Do you have
need,
to
like,
name
four-
them?
It's like 4. It's fine.
You've Kai. You have
I mean,
Ishimori or whatever her name is.
Yeah, you got it.
The rest of them.
Stony. So our story
Ayumi?
follows
Like four.
Uka Ishimori, who used to be called Stony because she got bullied a bunch into being super just like non-interactive and just like kind of like reserved and locked away, and that's how she just was until she ran into our other character Kai, who basically was like, stop being cringe. It's basically what he did.
Yeah.
And so she went, I should stop being cringe. So she attends a new school to try to get away from her old Stony personality. There's 3 girls, or it's like 2 girls and a guy there that are from her old school who call her Stony and bully the shit out of her. And she's like, oh fuck, here we go again. Until Kai basically splashes soda on them and is like, hey, stop being assholes. And Ishimori, who still doesn't know what to say or what to do, who just kind of panics. She goes, he's like, are you gonna be our friend or not, idiot? Like, come on. And she's like, I guess yes. That's kind of where the first couple of episodes go, is Ishimori being super shy and not knowing what to do. Followed up by Kai basically being like, you're an idiot, just be a human being. And she goes, oh shit, I should just be a human being. So we have 3 other characters with Kai. There is Ayumi, Seto, and then I think the last one's like Tomoya.
Yeah.
Basically another pretty boy that's like kind of like a parallel to Kai. A dingus who doesn't know what romance is, and a girl who's interested in the dingus who doesn't know what romance is because they're childhood friends. Episode 2, I think, is the one where like she kind of smurfs a little bit, where it's like, hey, pass her. Kai basically goes up to one of the friends and goes, hey, pass her the basketball and see what happens. And so they pass the basketball, and she kind of like just like goes full on blue box mode on us and just fucking smurfs and just like drives through the lane, just like dekes out like 3 people and just like nails a layup or something. They're like, holy shit, wait, she actually be balling. We didn't think Ishimori would ever be balling. She's like, no, I just did a lot of visualization, it's fine.
And then gang violence.
And then gang violence, where the people who call her Stony, who got soda sprayed on them, decided, let's double down on bullying this girl who's protected by the cool kid and the cool kid's friends. And so they do just that and get absolutely bodied by Kai. I
Those are
assume.
desks
Yell at them,
at
like,
him.
you're gonna get expelled for that. Can you like not like just? Yeah, Kai picks up a desk and just throws it at him too.
It's crazy.
Good boy. But and then episode 3, I believe, is where God, it's hard to say because I watched these like so long ago. But basically Kai runs off and she ends up going and finding him, and he's like, hey, can you just like keep the secret and just like wake me up when it's time for class, because I get really tired because I don't sleep well. And it kind of ends up being their little secret. And we have this other girl who's just like obsessed with Kai, who's just constantly following him around, which seems like happens quite a bit. And so eventually has this little secret get together with him. They end up going on a school trip where someone switches the signs for their school and they end up getting lost, and that's where they end up leaving off basically. So we're kind of going to see like who's sabotaging them, basically.
There's a lot
but
of
Ishimori
small
finally taking a little bit of
stuff.
charge is kind of a little bit. There's a lot of small stuff in between, but it's hard
Yeah.
to like list all of it.
No, it's fine. I think the only
I
important
can't
thing...
believe we.
Go ahead, Mason.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you first.
Go ahead, because mine's going to be a bit of a tangent.
No, it's fine.
I was just gonna say, I can't believe we just seriously like put a hit out on the main character in like the second episode of this show.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
that
they actually
certainly
kinda
did
did.
happen.
Like that's a little bit of an extreme reaction, buddy.
Yeah,
Like Jesus
like,
Christ.
Which, at least to the girl who's bullying her, even she's like, I didn't tell you to come here and try to kill her. This is beyond what I wanted you to do.
mhm.
That's wild.
But like at the same time, what did she want them to do?
I don't know, throw a rock through a window at her, call her Stony
Okay.
more. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the one thing I will say that we technically skimmed over a little bit is at some point they're trying to hang out. The boys want to hang out with her, and they wind up meeting her like out in like the center area of like town, and they're like, well, we're gonna go to karaoke, and she's like, I have curfew because my parents are really strict, and they're like, okay, we'll walk you home. And she's like, well, how about I walk with you to karaoke, and then I'll just go home, I'll be fine. And Kai goes, no, I'm just gonna walk you home. I'll walk you to the bridge, it's fine. And then he gives her his hat, and then he fucking turns on the Riz Master, and it's just like, they call you Stony, but you're more like a gemstone. And I'm like, okay, buddy, calm down.
buddy.
Calm down over there.
Right.
He's
She,
a little more, he's
she
like
is-
bullying her.
she's
and goes,
already
but, like-
weak in the knees, just staring at you. This
Like, I was
is-
gonna say that other one where like she's like, what would your dad want? And it's just like, what? Why are we worried about the dad? Why do you know my dad?
You're not my dad.
I was really worried this show was gonna be really generic, like super generic. I was not a fan of episode 1. I felt like everything played out so Disney Channel rom-com, and the bullies felt so. The bullies literally walk up, stare at her through the
shows
the,
up and saves her.
They walk up to the classroom doorway and go, "Look at that! Is that Stony? That girl we call Stony because we bullied her in middle school?" Like they exposition.
You know, the
dump-
one we all hate.
Yeah, like I'm like, guys, you could calm down a little. And then we almost resorted to physical violence on her in the next episode. I'm like, okay, now we're breaking the mold a little bit. This is, I can tune in. This show is going to be saved by its character interactions 100%. Because I do really enjoy this group dynamic. They are growing on me as the show goes. It just has a really hard hill to overcome for me because I already have the perfect show about a hot guy named Kai who bullies a bottom into becoming a more active person. It's called Card Fight Vanguard. I don't need Honey Lemon Soda to do that for me. Instead of Honey Lemon Soda, it's just Blaster Blade.
It's just lemon soda. Listen, because the honey is the sweetness between them, guys. It's easy.
See,
the
but
lava?
Sean, have you considered imagining you were on the surface of the planet Crate?
Okay. Look, man, if this Kai walks up to somebody and threateningly tells them to imagine themselves on the planet Cray, he's gonna be my second favorite Kai still, but he'll be up there. There's a lot of Kais I like in media. It's a good name.
Like
He-
Dragon Ball Kai.
He's a really interesting character. For not seeming it, he has a lot going on that makes him hard to get a good feel on. To the
Yeah.
point that even his friends are like, dude, do you like her or do you hate her? Do you want to like be her friend or you want to bully her? What's your vibe exactly here, dude?
And like the one friend also seems kind of interested in her, but like
But he's
is
also a
clearly, like,
playboy.
deferring, but also is
Yeah.
deferring to Kai. He's like, I've been informed I should stay here.
Yeah, but this show has teed up a supporting cast romance, so I'm on board for the whole way.
Dude, I
I-
think these
I want the
characters are
best for her.
adorable, and I just want her to be happy because she's just a little bean. But I don't know if the show wants her to get bullied or not because it's giving me mixed signals, man.
What do you mean? She has the guard dogs now. She has the gang.
She has
The
she has
gang.
the good boys, but
And girl, she's got a good girl. Best friends.
well, like mainly the two good boys though.
I also just adore the
Also, shout out to Red Wings.
interaction.
They won their straight game. Let's go.
I adore the
Maybe I should
interactions.
start so good.
Well, but like the interactions with her class too, where they just like
Mhm.
the fact that this school is just a gives no fuck kind of environment whatsoever. That even the
so
the chill
like,
school, which
the
is what
teacher-
she wanted because she wanted to go to like the
Yeah.
more like chill school because she was the uptight girl who like had no friends. She's like, I need to get where nobody knows me, and then immediately ran into 3 people who are apparently her biggest aunties in the world.
I adore the teacher being like, Kai, you can't sleep in class. Throws eraser. Kai catches eraser. Entire classroom
Everyone
bursts
claps.
into applause.
They clap too.
Class is like commentating him,
everybody
like
clap.
getting ready to throw the
So
eraser.
good.
She
I just
cla-
love that.
she claps and the teacher's like, no, not you two, please. You're my only hope.
Please don't also clap.
And then
Jeb Bush, please do not clap.
they also just go, hiya. And she goes, I don't know how to respond to hiya. Ah, malfunction.
Yeah, hello.
I-
And she's just like,
Yeah.
they're like, say it back. Yeah, hello. She said the thing. Let's go.
I love how the class hypes her up that entire thing.
It's so good.
Yeah, same thing. Was like
It seems like the class
episode
is like,
1.
oh, she's chill with Kai, therefore she's chill with everybody else.
Yeah,
Which I
episode 1 I was
thought
kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, episode 2 and 3, this show's just fun. This cast is great. The stuff we get with Kai and her is wonderful. Again, I said it like under my breath, the shawl sort of thing. The two of them in the storage room, absolutely great moment.
Yeah.
It's so good. One
Micah,
thing with the show.
yeah, okay, you want to
what
talk
the
about?
fuck is this show's soundtrack? Why the fuck do I got ethereal ass like synth pads playing the whole
It's
time?
wild, dude.
This
I'm
is
what the
not
fuck? What-
This is not a show to watch at like 1 in the morning when you're almost about to fall asleep because the OST is like nice and cozy.
Yeah.
Like, not like it doesn't fit the scenes. It's just like, what?
That's
What,
also
what was the choice here?
similar to how I feel about the show's opening, where the opening played and I went, what is this fucking pop, like this bubblegum pop bullshit commercial music I'm watching?
Right?
And I listened to it 2 more times, I'm like, okay, it works. It's weird, it works. I don't know. It grew on me.
Oh, yeah, it's a fun opening. Yeah.
Look, I will always enjoy when we get boy band openings. I don't know why. Just works.
It's Mason Core.
True.
I'm interested to see what this show is going to do. I'm interested in it. It is like large. It's like flat middle of the pack, like in terms of or romances for me, because in my brain there's like 4 of them, and this is like very close for 2 and 3 of where it is.
So I think this show's fine. The issue I have with it is that I fundamentally cannot really tell the difference between this and Skip and Loafer from a couple of seasons ago.
It's funny you mention that. I finished Skip and Loafer, and that's why I can tell the difference. Unironically, it's because that main character was a functioning member of society. That's the main difference.
True, but like
My argument is
It
gonna be
just
my
very-
argument is gonna be you seem to like this already more than you like Skip and Loafer.
true, I absolutely do. I think this show's fun. But like it's also going to occupy the same slot that Skip and Loafer did, it seems already. So
I think the other answer, at least in my brain, is at least in its genre, this feels more tuned in to the exact target audience at once. Where like, if you were to ask me what kind of rom-com you would write about a girl falling in love with like the hot guy, it's this. This is what you would write.
Yeah.
You write the disaster girl protag, and then you write the hottest man on the planet you can conceive of for Japan, which is a blonde guy who wears hats.
We're giving them a gig.
Also, Kai's adorable.
Well, yes.
Him blushing
yes.
when he gets the wash hat
it's
back.
so
He's
good.
adorable. He's just a little guy.
He's
He's
gonna-
a good boy, man.
He is going to run into
Yes.
the problem, which is only a problem if you have an issue with it, which is I think he's going to be too perfect of a man. Which I mean, it just depends whether you want a romance partner who has flaws. I don't know if Guy's gonna have any flaws.
I mean, we eventually go into why the hell this man gets like half an hour of sleep per night.
Don't worry
we're
about
we're
it.
gonna start getting stuff. It's gonna be awesome.
Don't worry
But it's also
about
gonna be
it.
like a pro, 'cause it's like he's like he's like working a job at night to like pay for his mom's disease or something. I
Or
don't know.
take care of his orphaned sibling who he has to care for.
Yeah.
Hey,
Who
hey,
knows?
Kai, thanks for working overtime because you lent me your Lamborghini and
Oh, Kai, thanks for like loaning me the Lambo this weekend.
This is how people talk to him. They treat him like this in their dialogue.
It's
Yo, Kai,
wild.
man, thanks for like loaning me your 17th hat.
Like they're on the
Really
mountain
cool,
trail.
bro.
They're on the mountain trail, and they're like, Kai doesn't like women, not because he's gay, but because he's above liking women. He's not into all the girls
He
who
has
flock.
ascended beyond the need for human reproduction.
And then his
He
bu-
just will
and,
simply reproduce naturally through osmosis.
and his buddy's just like, yeah, he fucked her. Yeah, he had a girl he took places once, and they were like, no, Kai, how could you betray us? We thought you were pure. Oh.
I enjoyed the show. I think I want a little bit more from the main character. Just
I think
just
you'll-
a little bit more.
I think you'll get it.
maybe, yeah, like I think we'll
Kai
get
is-
it in episode 4. You know, on the mountain
Mm-hmm.
trail.
I think we're gonna get it because Kai has actively been shouting at her to do that for the past 3 episodes.
Yeah, I
Hey,
just like you know.
He might still be
Wasn't
shouting at her the whole
too-
thing. That's kind of his thing.
It's true.
Yeah, it just wasn't like terribly into her for the first 3 episodes, but you know, that's kind of the point of her character, so like I'm not like too torn up over it.
Hey, Michael, you ready to talk about peak? Peak.
Oh, is it time? Is it
It's time to talk about
the
Medalist.
peak? Oh my goodness, time to talk about peak. Holy shit!
Spoiler,
How did we let this show go to final pick?
I know.
spoiler, I love this show.
How did I get to
can-
pick this show, picking first when it wasn't my first pick? How did this happen?
I can tell you exactly why, and that's because I've been hurt by Engie before.
Thank you, Austin. I talked to Michael. I sat down with Michael. I had watched episode 1 of Medalist, and I went, Michael, how did you not only steal Flower and Asura from me, but then I made the mistake of letting you get Medalist in the same season? When I looked at that show and went, I know it's critically acclaimed. Everything I've heard about it sounds phenomenal. I really like the premise, and I watched one trailer and went, but do I trust Studio Engie? And my answer was no, and I fucked up. Michael, talk about Medalist.
So Medalist. Medalist is a
Pulling
story
up
about
names.
yeah, I'm pulling up names. I'm pretty sure I had a good idea of his.
I'm gonna put it there. I'll be back in a minute.
Because I watched this whole thing dubbed.
I
I'll
did
get that out of the
too.
way. I haven't watched any of it subbed, so I have no idea what any of the sub. I imagine they're good.
It's
This
good.
dub's great.
It's a
This
really
dub's
good. It's a
fucking
really
Really
good.
good.
It's a really good sub too.
Yeah.
I
but
don't
this
think
story
my
follows
my
Nori-
site has
yeah.
dub for everything yet.
Disney Plus
yeah, I don't-
only has the dub. It doesn't have the
That-
sub.
Oh,
Oh, that's funny. Okay. But yeah. Story follows the 11-year-old Inori Yuitsuka and guy he's like 24 or
He's
something. I don't know.
26.
So, yeah. Tsukasa. I don't think we ever learned his last name, and I don't know how to pronounce it, nor do I feel like trying to do that. But Tsukasa, he was a figure skater when he was younger. But he essentially missed the cutoff to really get good for Olympic level. Because this is a sport where you need to start early. And he started when he was like 13 or whatever, and they were like, "Nope, that's too bad. Get fucked, nerd." He's a really good figure skater. But he's just kind of like vibing at the start of the show. He's called by his friend, and she goes, "Hey, you want to like be an instructor at the rink that I work at?" He's like, "Bet." And then he meets this small child. She's based. She's like, oh yeah, she likes worms, which is based.
he does it, which is also based.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember like what specifically happens in each episode, like whatever.
She sneaks into the ice rink, and he is mad about it because he does not appreciate freeloaders.
But yeah. Episode 1 is essentially getting the two of them to meet each other.
Yep.
And she goes, "I just really want to figure skate. My mom doesn't want me to because my older sister did at one point. And then she got really sad at it. So my mom doesn't want me to do that, so then I won't get sad. But actually, her mom's just being the fucking worst, essentially. Her mom means well, I think.
Yes,
But
I think her mother is actually a little justified. But
Yeah.
also, you have a daughter who desperately needs an outlet. You should give her the outlet.
Yeah.
We even get like bits of her at school being like bullied for being weird because she likes worms.
It's also like they don't include her in anything because like she's actively not been particularly good at stuff, so they just think she's gonna screw it up, and so they like let her
Yeah.
go do her own thing.
But yeah, so we as she's like so he's like, okay, let's get you on the ice, let's let you do some stuff. And she's like a lot better than you'd expect someone first hopping on the ice, because she's like visual practice. Obviously she hasn't really been on the ice a ton. But she's like pretty good. And she's 11 when she's like barely at the cutoff where she could like actually do something here.
I think
And
she
he's
has
like-
been on the ice is the idea, right? Because
Oh,
she was
But she hasn't
sneaking
had like proper
in.
training.
Yeah, she didn't have like a proper coach. You're right on that front.
But essentially, so she's doing this, and she's like, sorry, but I can't like do it, like actually like go in on this. And her mom's like, nope, you definitely can't. And he's like, bet I will personally train you, because he sees himself in her. He goes, it might be selfish of me, but I need this girl to succeed. In episode 2, we see them training. She's like learning really fast. She's like really talented at this, realistically. He's like, yeah, I had a 3-month lesson plan. You learned it in 3 weeks. Crazy. She's cracked.
Let's get you to take a test.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, yeah, you gotta take a test. She's like, what test? He goes, yes, so there's the test. You gotta go through the 7 ranks. Or 8. I don't know if prelim's considered the first one, or if it's like prelim and then set, whatever. Doesn't matter. She has to take her first test. And essentially, these tests are, if you're at a certain rank, you compete at different divisions in competitions. This is how they can have like children's competitions. And now it's just like, oh, children. It's like, this person is like only able to do up to these skills. And like in these competitions, like you can only do this level of skill. In the prelims category, no one's doing a triple axel, because that's stupid. That's kind of like way outside there. That's the idea here. So she goes to her first competition thing, and while she's here, she gets nervous. Of course, that's what happened. And so she goes out to go find worms,
I love her.
because that's what she does.
I love her.
And then she runs into a girl who's wearing a nice like frilly dress, who was also in the bush, who was looking for like a pendant. I think it was like a necklace or whatever. And we learn a little bit later. Her name is Hikaru. She's like the prodigy of her age. She's her. She's like the one. She's like shown in like we see her on TV at like the beginning of the show. She's like, want to be my friend? She's like, I can just be people's friend. That's how that works. What? Kind of like the same thing. Honey Lemons. Like, wait, we could just be friends. That's a thing.
And a blonde asshole walks up.
What are
Yeah, and then the blonde asshole. I don't know if we don't get his name.
We don't get his name.
Well, so she says his first name. Like Hikaru says his name, but it also could have been a nickname. I don't care. I'm not looking up his name. He's an asshole.
He looks like Nerd McNerdson.
Yeah.
He looks like a loser.
But so she's like, now he makes a comment. He's like, if I don't already know who you are at your age, you're worthless. You're not going anywhere.
And if you also don't know who we are,
Yeah.
clearly like you're clearly new and don't matter.
Yeah. And she is rattled. She's like, I'm gonna fail. I'm worthless. Won't be able to do anything. So she goes back inside. She has her bag of worms. Scott is like, what is this bag? God damn it, it's worms. And he's like, oh shit. She's like, she's not doing good right now. Okay, let's try to calm her down. So let's like go over, try to review. Let's go over some stuff. And she's like, I have no idea. And he's like, fuck. New strategy. Hold my finger. Now hold my other finger. And we have this adorable scene where he distracts her from it. It's so good.
It's so good.
Tsukasa's so good. I love this man.
And then we get an even more double C move. She doubles down and goes, "I'm gonna hold your hoodie strings."
Yeah.
Because they
God,
remind me.
and
They
that
remind me
parallels,
of
like,
worms.
Yeah, yeah, but like at the end of the opening, you have the bit of her holding the strings too. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a bit that's gonna keep going. That's good. I like that. That's really good. So So she does her little test. She does great. Because they've even mentioned before this, the prelim test requires you to essentially know how to skate on the ice. That's about it. Gotta be able to skate on one foot. You gotta be able to skate on 1 foot forward and backwards. That's about the entire thing. She gets her prelim thing. She's very happy. Good time. Then her mom hits her with the, yeah, you're doing a good job. Like, anyway, you can do this until you hit middle school, just like your sister. She's 11. Middle school is in a year. Damn. Episode 3. She's now in the prelim. She can now learn how to jump. And she's learned how to jump pretty well. They start using proper names for these jumps. I don't know what the fuck a SoCal means or whatever.
Salco.
Salco, yeah. It's some kind of jump. I know there's like 5
Someone
different
get
types of
Annie's
jumps.
figure
I
skating
watched
ass
Yuri
in
on
here so
Ice.
she
I
can
know there's a
explain this
difference
shit.
between them. I don't know what they are, but I know they exist. Yeah, she's like learning how to jump. This episode, she's also doing like spins and shit, like squat spins. She's going crazy, and she's also learning a routine. We learned she is very nervous about dancing because she thinks she looks silly, which like that's so real. That's like the most real shit ever. Think you look silly when you're dancing. And he's like, okay, I'm just gonna hop on the ice. You can just like follow in my shadow as I dance. Then we see this man. Sometimes you forget 'cause he's always wearing a hoodie. This man's ripped.
It's fucking jacked.
Yeah. And he also forgets Tsukasa's like a really good skater because like he's introduced as past his prime old guy. He's still fucking great.
We have a really good scene that sets up for this in episode 1 where the I don't remember her name, but the other coach who pulls him in to coach with her was like, yeah, I want you to do this because we skated together in like a duet. And he was like, yeah, but that was all your talent. And she's like, that's not how that works. She's like, it was both of us. And then we get to see him on the ice in episode 3 and it goes full circle.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit.
And then episode 3, two other like big things happen essentially. We meet a cat. Her name is Mittens.
We meet a cat.
I don't know what you mean. That's what happens. So there's another girl. She's one of the girls in the. I think she's the second girl in the opening. Whatever. If you were to go through. Her actual name is like fucking
Mario Nachi.
So,
That's it.
so her
That's the
name is
coach. I
her
think
name is
that's the coach.
Miketa. And she's called Miketaro by her coach.
Yes.
And she wants to go by Mittens because she is a cat.
Problem is what she is.
Yeah, she is a problem.
She's the fucking worst. She straight up goes up to Inori and goes, "I'm not a big fan of the government. The government being adults." And Inori goes, "No, we should like listen to adults sometimes." But she goes, "You're getting stepped on by adults. You need to have your own opinion because Inori up to this point doesn't have like any confidence in anything." And they have a little thing, and they're now essentially rivals for this upcoming competition, the whatever cup that's coming up. Because this is one of the few cups that has competitions for every level, from 7 down to prelim. And so they start setting that up. We also have a scene. It actually may have been an episode. Yeah, I think it was episode 3. It's earlier on. Telling this out of order, whatever. She meets Hikaru's like home rink is closed down for whatever. So Hikaru's at the one that's closer to Inori, and she's like, "Hey, let's skate together." And they just skate together. And Inori's like, Hikaru's like skating real fast. And Inori's like, "I want to skate fast like her," and then tries. Then Hikaru goes, "Bet," skates even faster. It's fun watching these two just vibe. Inori goes, "You are," it essentially goes, "You are my rival. You may be quite literally 5 levels ahead of me right now, but you are my rival. This is the queen of the junior division." Great times. God, this show's so fucking good. The show's pretty. Oh my goodness, this show.
The bit at the like midway through episode 1 where she gets introduced, where she pulls the like parkour shit on the rail, is just such a good shot, and it like the cinematography on it is just done really well, and it just got me. The show's really good.
I adore this man. He is phenomenal. He is great. You must protect him at all costs, as he will protect her at all costs. In episode 3, at the end, we get the bit where they're they're talking about how she's going to get the leg up in the competition, because Mittens can do a double jump, a double spin, and that will, because they explain it, she should technically probably be one level higher, but they're sitting her in prelim so that
Try
she
to
can
like win.
so that she can win. And once she wins, then her coach is gonna feel comfortable to actually let her move up and do more difficult things, because she wants her to actually spend the time to practice, because she has the biggest fucking ego in the world and thinks she's hot shit. And so he's like, okay, here's what you can do. You can also learn to do a double spin. And if you do that, your basics will suffer. Or we can focus on the basics and maybe test out double spin along the way. And like your basic foundation will be fucking incredible. What do you want to do? You make that choice. And Nori's like, what if I make the wrong one? In her head. And because he's a fucking psychic, he's like, whatever choice you make, I'm gonna get you to the highest level I can get you to. No problem. You will succeed. Because he's a fucking angel. And then he runs into a stray dog and goes,
Oh,
what
that's
if I
the
make her
rest.
what if I make her spin a lot? Which rules. And they
You
have a
already
different
have an idea.
technique.
Sorry, why do you have a dog?
It's called like a sit. Basically, it's like a sit spin. So
Yeah.
basically, instead of like
It's a
landing,
jumping sit spin.
doing a double, what if she did like a spin and then landed spinning on one foot, because it's like it's a more high level skill to do, but because of her like natural abilities and like how she spins, basically it's like, hey,
And her
it could work
balance,
out.
yeah.
And then fucking goes, hey, try this instead. Imagine trying to like sit down when you do it. She's like, okay, does it? And he goes, it's just that easy, man. Being a coach
She's
is
just
just
too good,
easy.
she's
He's like,
Good.
damn, I'm just a prodigy at coaching.
Yeah. And we
Can we
walk out.
also... Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, we walk out episode 3 with us knowing that both of the girls basically have a 90% success rate at this maneuver, and it'll just come down to who sticks it in the actual show.
Can we also talk about the fact real quick of like when it's first showing her like doing her basics, it tells you how skating works and
Yeah.
is actually like genuinely a good lesson on skating.
Where to put your weight and stuff and like all this other stuff. See, here's the thing, Mason, is that's all fine and dandy. I was the person who just went, yeah, this feels right. I didn't like know where to put my weight. My body just like instinctually like figured it out, because
I
The
cannot
other shit-
skate still.
The
I
other
get it.
shit is
So-
skating.
so it's funny because I used to roller skate all the time as a kid, and I never ice skated. And everyone's like, oh no, it's totally different. It's totally different. First time ice skating, I'm like going backwards and stuff. I'm like, it's not that bad, guys. Like, it's just about where your balance is.
You just built
All I'm
different.
saying is that it's all fun and games until a kid makes you fucking wipe out.
Bro, I have a story about that. I almost like broke my wrist in high school right before solo and ensemble, because I was roller skating and like kids being stupid just like wiped out in front of me. I'm like, I have two choices. Either I try to jump over this kid or I fucking absolutely destroy this like 7-year-old. And so I attempted to jump over the kid and then like tripped landing down, almost like broke my wrist, and then had solo and ensemble the next day. And I did
Oh.
ballot percussion back then, so that was great. But no, this show's great. I'm excited because we get competition next episode probably.
Yeah, I
Probably.
think so.
Mhm.
And we get to see how she does. Part of me hopes she doesn't like completely like perfectly do everything, because I feel like that's not very realistic for like how hard this stuff is. But at the same time, like I'm excited to see what they end up doing with it, right? Because it's like obviously we have different levels of the competition and different like placements based off
Yeah.
your level. And so it's like her main contest is Cat Girl, but like there's also, Prodigy Young Ice Skater Girl with the Cool Kids Club, who won the Junior B contest last year, who will be competing probably in like the A division or something like that. And so it's interesting to see like the different tiers and stuff and like the progression that we're gonna see compared to other characters.
I'm actually pretty fine if she wins this one. No problem.
I'm fine if
because
she wins it. I just don't want her to be like flawless, perfect, best performance ever.
I think even if she is, I'm fine with it because it's at such an entry level, and she seems like she has such a strong basic foundation that I can buy it. And I imagine this will be a story where she is gonna fail when she gets higher up here. I imagine this is gonna be a back and forth for her for a while. I just think like story-wise, like I can't imagine like I get what you mean. Like maybe not like a completely perfect performance, but that also relies on Mittens having an equally not perfect performance, right? Right. It just depends on
Well, yes and
how
no.
it shakes up.
Because like I think like ice skating, from what I've heard from like Amber and like Annie, is like similar to like gymnastics, where it's like they score you based off like total points, based off how difficult your like routine is, basically, and on different like criteria and stuff, right? Because like it's not just how well you do the cool ice skating flip moves. You also have to be graceful and like the dancing
Yeah.
aspect of it and the performance and all that good stuff. And so I'm interested to see how like all this comes together with like these, essentially kids who are like in it like with a lot of the stuff, like it's very like rigorous, I guess I'd say. But
I'm really interested to also get more of Hikaru's coach, who from the opening might also be the coach for the blonde kid. He might be both of their coaches.
Yeah.
But he's a fucking fake character, just walking around. He walks around, he get his phone rings, and he fucking demolishes it in the middle of the walkway like a monster. This dude's got problems.
I also
funny.
hate how like every time like our poor girl turns a corner, it's just some adult going, "Dude, that fucking girl sucks ass. She's the worst figure skater in the history of people to ever set foot on ice."
And
Like,
you know
Fuck
what though?
this toddler.
You know what though? That's so fucking real, dude. Parents of
No,
young kids in
absolutely.
sports clubs. Oh, dude, the
They're the
worst.
cattiest.
Bro, why doesn't he
people.
coach my kids? And it's because your kid, little
Your
Timmy,
kid sucks.
sucks more ass. He's just 3 years younger. Like,
Your kid ain't built different and digging up worms in the parking lot. Deal with it. This show's OP fucking rules. This show's ED's adorable. The ED for this show rules. I love it. It's so cute. I am
way-
so excited for this.
The way that they put so much like personality and like Inori is such a lovable being, and like all the anxiety is like, yeah, I get that. You know, you're
You feel so
you're an
bad
11-year-old
for her.
trying to figure.
Mhm.
She gets the short end of the stick. And
She
she does
is.
not deserve any of it.
I appreciate that this show presents her as a walking bundle of anxiety and then gives actual reason as to why she's a walking bundle of anxiety, and not just like expecting you to just be okay with that.
We're talking about, according to the anime, man, she's not a real person.
People don't exist like her. No one goes and digs
no
up
one can
worms.
ice skate, actually. It's not real.
The ice skating looks bad. I'm sure that'll be an opinion he has.
Does Joey know that anime is fictional?
No. It's all real.
No.
That's why you watch
happens in
Kiss
real
Exes.
I wanna give the show a little credit about her mother in that, like, yes, she's obviously not helping her daughter to the level she needs, but she also is coming from a place that is difficult, right? And they elaborate and explain that very well. She had an
Yeah.
older daughter who went through this exact same thing, got hurt, and stopped doing the sport.
Failed, lost her
was-
passion for
right,
life
like-
for a while.
That is rough. And I'm just saying, we haven't seen a father or the sister. Probably other things happen that also equally make the mother very cautious of her now probably only daughter living with her is my guess.
And I'm so excited to go through all that trauma.
Yep, yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I'm so excited for her to go through all this trauma 17 seconds before she goes on a performance and then touches some pull strings and locks the fuck in.
But also, I'm ready to dig into dig into his trauma and his bullshit and everything that he's
Mhm.
gonna have going on, because this is also definitely gonna be like, this is a seinen. It's also gonna fucking hit us with shit from him and the people who are probably coaching around him, who were around him on the stage when they competed, and think he's not hot shit. Oh, I'm so excited for this show. This is the show that like I didn't want to not watch the next episode. It was so hard, dude.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so good.
God.
They do like the character role of like probably like the 5 like main skaters, at least for the current arc of
Yeah.
stuff in the opening, and I go, I want to meet all of them.
Yep.
Right?
I need the task right now.
It is now time to go back to Austin
Yay.
for Japan.
We're going to Japan. Sort of.
Japan?
Japan.
Oh no, I
Ah,
forgot. That's ZENSHU that goes Japan. or whatever.
Animator?
Real world. Is that they say?
Reality.
What is this reality? Sorry. Zenshu's a fucking
What is this
nonsensical
real
mess.
world?
It's so dumb. I
Let's
love
talk
it.
about something else that's nonsensical and good for and better off for it.
Yeah, so we've got our main character, Kazuhiro, who goes home on time. Who goes home on time like a responsible Japanese salaryman. Everybody clap. And the reason why he goes home on time, he just makes himself a bento box, and then he goes the fuck to sleep
It's
like a
'cause
good Japanese salaryman.
you know why? Because he doesn't need to die of overwork to get transported to another world. He's already got the
True.
in.
He just has to die of overwork in the other world.
So what happens is that whenever he goes to sleep, he gets transported to another world where he gets to do whatever the fuck he wants. And the only whenever he makes like food or something that mostly food, he gets to take it to the other world with him, but it doesn't really extend to as they find out later on, it doesn't extend to modern technology. So like a flashlight, put it on his bedside, won't come with him, but a bento box that comes with.
Beer also, alcohol.
Also beer, you know,
Very important.
anything of the consumable and carries the consumable variety. He fucks around a bit and meets up with his friend Maria Bell, or Mary, because I don't want to say all the syllables.
It's okay, Dito knows the show.
Yeah.
Marie, and she's a very attractive elven lady, and they just meet, just talk, and they're like, oh hey, let's go explore a dungeon. This is the first time that we'll be doing this together. Once they go into a dungeon, they start talking about the world and what she does. She's a sorcerer. And then they come across a lizard, and Marie's like, "Oh, be careful. We don't know how this is gonna go." And Kazuhiro just runs up to him and just gives him a high five and starts yapping
Daps his
away
ass
in the
up.
monster language. And the lizard tells him, "It's like, oh, there's a dragon over there who's got some eggs. Be careful." And so naturally, the response to that is, "Let's go see them." And
Fuck around and
so
find out.
they go to
No,
see
no,
them, and
no shit.
they're like, "Oh, we got to be careful," and it's like, "We gotta be careful so you don't wake up the dragon." And
Dragon.
as expected, the dragon wakes up and is very not happy with some onlooking tiny little ants trying to while she is taking care of her eggs, and she just kills the fuck out of them.
So, anyways, I
but the
started
fire-
blasting.
Yeah. And Kazuhiro knows that whenever he dies, he just like respawns in his bed, but now he feels bad about Marie getting caught up into that. And then he turns over and Marie's just naked in his bed, and we're like,
I want to interject.
glad
We're
I picked both of these shows. 'Cause
We're watching-
episode 1. That's what we get.
We're watching the show, and Michael out loud goes, "For free?"
We get Elphaz on screen for like 12 seconds. It's just there.
Michael.
Ah, dude, and
Holy shit.
Michael made this first episode 10 times better, dude.
It's so funny.
And it was already pretty good.
And so we and so he goes out and buys clothes for her because that's what a reasonable person would do.
He gets judged
And
for it, like
get-
every
yeah,
man does.
definitely gets judged for it, and and they go around and talk about how what this Japan is, introduces her to the terror of
Put
cars
Japan
and the
in air
beauty
quotes.
of cherry blossoms, and that's where the first episode ends. The second episode is when they actually go attempt to go back into the other world for the first time, successfully albeit, and then they basically just apologize, beg for their lives to the dragon, saying, "Sorry, it was my fault. Please don't kill us. Let her go, not me." And Marie, who doesn't understand the language, is like, what are you telling her? And the dragon is like, understanding reasonably so, and also very confused as to why they're just respawning right in front of her face in her home. And she turns into she talks to them and realizes that okay, they're not here to hurt my to be children. Please don't please be more careful next time. And they basically bribe her with their lunch to get like gemstones and or a bloodstone and a scale, and Marie's just very taken back as to how much they are worth. And then they head toward town, and just she or before they head into town, she just like robs them of all their beer and their food, and says next time you come back, bring like twice as much as you did before.
With
that was
promise
like
of compensation, to be fair.
yeah, and that's most of episode 2, but they basically just like handshake is like, yeah, we could just go back and forth between Japan and here. That'd be pretty cool. And in episode 3, Marie starts learning like she starts like learning Japanese because she just cannot understand Japanese at all. It's also notable that like Kazuhiro just like enjoys learning languages, so he knows like the monster language, the dragon language, whatever language he and Marie are speaking, as on top of already knowing
I
Japanese.
want to say we're told it's Elvish.
I think it's
Yes.
Or it's either Elvish or they just because I think they do actually say what language that one is.
So they go
Yeah.
back into the other world, and they like basically just do some like hacks TPing to a desert so that they can look for magic stones and level up, and he essentially does Pokemon Switch training with Marie to like boost her levels. While they're getting like scouted out by some bandits who notice that they've got some like really valuable shit, and so they get a beast boy that they kidnap to call a giant serpent onto them and kill them. And so they come back into
Reality.
Japan, and they're like, yeah, we'll defeat the bandits, but that's for another time. We don't need to worry about it now. That's where
We'll
the
do that. We'll do that
episode
tonight.
ends. Yeah.
Anyway,
Let's go have some fun.
I think me and Austin were talking about this. Like, I know like this is happening when they sleep. They wake up in a different world, but like, wouldn't eventually like you mentally fatigue to a point where like you're just not getting any actual like rest?
Well, so
I
what's
guess.
the implication seems to be
So-
that the longer you're awake in the other world, the more you are getting rest in your like as long as you are awake and existing in the other world, you are getting rested. Because he implies that if he were to go back and sleep and die right away, like when they're talking about the dragon, he's like, if we were to go back and immediately get killed, that process of going back and forth would rob me of sleep. So the idea is that when he is awake on the other world, like out there functioning, his body in the real world is actually getting like actual sleep, and so
Yeah.
like it's fine. And I imagine, I would
but like
think it
mentally,
would.
he is currently
yeah.
functioning 24 hours a day.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do have
Don't
one
worry
thing I
about
want
it.
to say.
Funny fantasy show.
The show is the perfect argument as to why this is a complete tangent, by the way. This show is the perfect argument as to why Cypher is not the most useless X-Men. If you do not know,
you weren't kidding.
if you do not know, Cypher is the X-Men whose power is the power of language, where all he can do is just speak any language, which until like 4 years ago essentially mattered not at all. And then suddenly he became the most important X-Men because the entire like arc that they were in revolved around him being able to talk to an actual living sentient island.
Let's go.
X-Men.
Wait a second,
Comics,
I
man.
I thought Sonic Underground told us no one is an island. Hold on.
Fuck you.
No, it is the living island of Krakoa.
So this
This is the
show,
bit that like only Sean
Yes,
gets, like, that
oh,
specific bit.
where's the wait, hold on.
I hate everything about this.
Anyway, talking about this show, I think this show's fucking adorable.
Shun.
That's not gonna
Fuck
come
up.
up on the stream, but that was just for you guys.
I'm aware.
This show's adorable. I love the two of them, Kazuhiko and Marie are adorable. They're wonderful little beans. They vibing.
They're two idiots in a pod.
Yeah. Also, her beanie, peak. Beanies are great. Love beanies.
Yes.
I just think the show's fun. They're also about to. Seems like they're about to essentially adopt a child in the fantasy world. Is what I'm guessing is gonna come out of this. So they're
How-
essentially just a married couple with a child already. So like,
Yeah.
Which always ends well.
We're gonna get to the
Anime.
too many
Just
monkeys.
ask for it out online. Everyone's favorite marriage anime.
We're gonna get to too many monkeys jumping on the bed soon with how many people he's gonna be ushering back and forth to Japan.
yeah,
Um,
apparently.
I don't know what I thought this show was gonna be. It wasn't this.
No.
I thought we were gonna do like an elf comes to Japan kind of story, and that was just gonna be it. Instead, I got a back and forth fantasy travel show, Isekai, that has decided it is a fashion show, a cooking show, and it's gonna be a highly detailed fantasy show that has like in-game mechanics as if it was like a video game. There's a lot here. And that is a little bit of a detriment sometimes to it, in that I'm not sure what all I'm going to get every episode, and sometimes you want to know what you're in for a show. That's why this is like, I think recently I enjoy this show a little more than other stuff that I have above it, but I'm being cautious with it because I'm not fully sold on it yet, and I will be honest. I believe this might be the same studio that did Grieving Soul. And the
Oh.
action
Oh,
no, I
boy.
say this more because the action shows in this third episode where he just kind of flips and stabs some things, and it sure is just a time. But like the fantasy world is interesting. It's given me odd things to latch onto that I think are neat and I might enjoy.
I like he shows his stat screen. I'm like, oh, that's like the thing players can do. No, that's just a thing
Yeah,
people do in this world.
yeah.
They have a
Yeah.
stat-
This
they have a
exists.
fucking bracelet that shows the character stats.
For what it's worth, this is like a new. I feel like this is a thing that's becoming more popular in modern fantasy, especially isekai into fantasy setting, where the idea is that like
the
there are.
gamifying of it.
Yeah, but like there are a lot of shows recently I've watched where the concept is you register with like a guild and they track like your experience as like an adventurer and they like track your progress and like you like class into something like thematically and it also tracks that too and it feels very video game-esque. It's weird. I'm not sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Looking at you reincarnated as a sword.
I thought it worked.
I liked it. Yeah.
I did too. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it does that.
Well, stuff that I think maybe doesn't do it so well is like Spirit Chronicles, but Spirit Chronicles is Spirit Chronicles, and it's a time.
Okay, but guys, hear me out.
Kirito.
He has a spell where he travels underground to get from location to location called Train.
Yes, no,
That's awesome.
and I
It's
really,
true.
It smells good.
and
as hell, bro.
I really like the thematic implication of like, and you have to pay respects to the merchant god by putting a flower on his little goofy statue, and it's cute. I also it's really interesting the hint at the idea that there is some bigger power that like judges what he can and cannot bring, and like has like brought him here for like this show feels like it has too much going on for 3 episodes worth of content, and I'm not sure what part of it I should be hooked on to. I also don't particularly care a lot about this dragon, so if I don't see that
That's
dragon
fine. She
again,
just wasn't there past episode 2.
she
and that's,
sure
like,
is in
not
the
see her
open.
again,
She
okay.
sure is in the
Sean,
opening.
you don't care about
so.
horny food dragon?
Look, man, I get enough of that from watching people play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Horny
She's
food dragon.
she's a
could be fun.
dragon made. She's a dragon made card straight out of the deck. I'm all good.
Yeah, straight up. That's Shio, just
I-
straight up.
I've gotten far enough into Arifureta that I know that it could always be worse.
Yeah, I don't think this show is
That's
bad.
not saying much, Austin.
I don't think this show is bad. I'm just not fully on board with it yet. I do think it's cute. I do think it's nice. I get a lot of that stuff from other places. But I'm going to keep this show around because having a bunch of food cooking segments mean I can vote off other things that also have food cooking segments that I think are
Really?
dog shit, and I can justify it that way.
No, that was like the best part of that other show.
To be clear, I was talking about like specifically the dragon thing,
I didn't say.
not just edgy not just edgy fantasy like as a broad statement.
Yeah.
Specifically, it's just like, oh yeah, we've got hornier, weirder dragons in Arifureta, I guess.
And look, I should at least appreciate that this dragon didn't turn into a lolly when she became human. It's a
True,
honestly, massive W
I'm-
for culture moving forward.
I mean, to be
I-
fair, she's a mother or to be mother.
Look,
So
Look,
like,
man, I'm a
I am
Fire Emblem
always
fan.
way more here for
Yeah.
Mommy Dragon than I am for Lolly Dragon.
Yeah, that's why Awakening's the best Fire Emblem. You get both. You get the pick.
Sean, shut the fuck
Yeah,
up.
You get
No.
both.
we
You
are
get
Noe haters in
you
this
get
house.
you get both, and then the one that's a lolly has a daughter on top of it. So you get 3 of them things.
Oh my god, that one is the one with the child in that
It
game.
is
God
it is
damn
one of the ones that has children. Yes.
Sean,
Well, there are
why?
children in that game.
Yo, but Awakening also rules because it also has other beast races, and it has the bunny one, and those are rad as fuck. Those characters are both unironically really cool.
Awakening rules because Awakening kind of rules.
Awakening's just kind of it's kind of just a good game. Tangent.
kind of fun.
Yeah.
It saved Fire Emblem as much as old
Yep.
heads hate it. It did save the franchise.
And as much as people love the rag on it, it's not Fates, so
Could be worse.
As someone who has
Just-
played none of these games,
Just like this show,
God,
you watch it and you go, "Well, it could be worse."
I actually don't
That's
know
not
if I
bad.
have my copy of Awakening anymore. I think DJ might still have it.
That's crazy. You're
I
never
don't-
getting
I
that
don't
back.
Yeah, I don't remember if I got it back. from
I'll
when they
mail
had
you
it.
my
I-
copy, Michael. I've beaten the game 7 times. I don't need it anymore.
I still have
Sean
never
had
actually
so
beaten
many
that
babies.
game.
I
I'd have
do
to
like a
check
run of
my-
that game
my
every
recent
year. It's a
3DS
problem.
games.
Oh
do
yeah,
you-
no, this show
any-
is good. It does subvert expectations on some of what the show does. And I
Yeah.
hope we keep doing stuff because I want to know what the fuck's actually going on in this show. So like you said, it feels like we've gotten a lot of like, there's a lot going on. Don't know what it is, but there's a lot going on.
Also, am I insane? Does her skin lighten a little when they go to the real world? Like visually? Like I swear she's like pink
I didn't notice
in the
it.
fantasy world, and she's like a regular skin tone color. Like she looks a little lighter. It bothers me. I don't know if I'm right.
That's just the LED lighting, you know.
Yeah, you got me.
Yeah.
It's the LED.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk
I love the bit that
It's
oh,
just the
what is him?
RGB he has on his
Kazuhiko.
computer in his room.
Kazuhiko. I typed my name wrong when I
Kazuhiko, 'cause
was
he's-
5.
'Cause that's just real silly.
Okay, Mason, Tasokare.
So, to reference a slightly earlier conversation. So, speaking of cat girls, Tasokare Hotel is
Fucking
about
I didn't-
our main character, whose name
Neko, neko, neko,
is
neko, 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 neko,
Neko Neko Sukahara, who
Neka, 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 neka.
our first shot of this show is her getting stabbed in a maybe non-lethal area. It certainly looks like her side, not like, in her gut or something like that. But then she wakes up in this big field that has nothing in it, and then she turns around and there's a sign that says turn around, and then she turns around and there's a hotel.
That is what happens.
John, I'm telling you, if you
Uh,
think really hard, it's so obvious this is a visual novel because that is like the there's something behind you. Oh shit. Oh shit. I can turn
Thing
the camera.
behind you.
Turn the camera.
It's so good. So she walks into this hotel, and at this point we cannot see her eyes. She's just kind of like shadowed from here up. And she is told that this is the Tasokare Hotel, not Tasokare, Tasokare. And she is told this by the manager, who is a man who's just a flaming head in a suit. She's told by him that this is a hotel for people who are in between life and death, and they don't know if they're alive or dead. And if when they get to their room, the room is tailored to them. The hotel just kind of like throws bits and pieces of their life in their memories into the room. And once they find enough of it, it should jog their memories so they can remember at least their name. And then from there on, they can remember what happened to them and remember if they're alive or dead.
If they are saved or slayed.
Yes, exactly. Episode 1 is all about her. We meet the manager. We meet Atori, who is one of the staff there. He is basically the bellboy. He just kind of takes care of guests as needed. We have Rory, who is the like maid and cook. And then we meet a few other of like the guests. We have Menno, who is I think a demon.
We meet a couple of
Who runs the bar.
weirdos.
Yeah, and then we
A lot of weirdos.
and then we meet definitely not Spinner. I don't remember what his name is, and it doesn't say it on Mal right now. So, and it's just kind of like meeting the gang, seeing what's going on. Rory's a tsundere that Neko is very into. I don't know why, but she is.
He is Kiriko.
Kiriko, thank you. Yes, the Overwatch character, right? That's what.
Very similar.
Yeah. The second and third episodes.
Well, episode 1 is tarot card.
Oh, right. Episode 1 is tarot card. I forgot about that.
And we find out
every
a
episode
little,
focuses on a different case.
and we find out a little
Yeah.
bit about her too.
We find out a little bit about her in the first half of it, and then she decides to join as staff for the hotel as like kind of just help where needed.
Something to do while you're like trying to figure out if you're dead or not.
She's fucking
Exactly.
bored.
She's bored as hell.
She can't go watch her idol group of 300 idols on stage at what?
And
365.
I
Or
love that reference.
some
so
dumb
much.
shit like that. It's so funny.
It's a good reference. There's an idol group
Oh.
that's like was like NCT 128 or whatever that has like 100 members or something like that. There is an idol group that is like that in K-pop.
So, first episode, she meets a woman who is a fan of a like artist, and ends up finding like helps her recover her memories, and that she was like an obsessive fan almost, but the guy was also kind of a piece of shit. She ends up remembering that she is still alive, from whatever.
I
And
actually
then
think all three of these people are still technically alive. We get in these first.
Yes.
One we're not sure of.
one we're not quite sure of yet.
I think he is, and I think he's just fucking with the sister.
Yeah. Our second one is a guy named Masaki Osoto. And he is initially, he has a pansy for a head initially until he remembers his name.
That's episode 3.
Well, yeah, that's episode.
Oh, that's 3? I thought.
Two is Pachinko.
Two's the.
Oh,
Pachinko
2's
ball.
Pachinko? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 2 is
Sorry, I
Pachinko.
thought
3 is
I
where
thought
we're
that was
introduced to
3.
like villain guy.
Yeah.
What do
So
you
episode
mean?
2 then is.
They play mahjong.
Yeah, they play mahjong. Like all
Sean
of the
popping
guests
off.
and
I stay
Atori and the
winning.
manager. They play mahjong because this guy just really likes gambling. And we end up finding out his story is that he got really into debt with gambling. And then he stole money from his mom. And then he tried to gamble some more. And then he...
Got buried
I forget
alive.
how he
They're
actually...
burying
like-
him alive. Last
Yeah,
time I
that's
saw
what it
him.
is. They buried him alive. And he is somehow still alive.
Maybe.
For now.
Maybe. For now.
They flat out go, good luck when you get back, buddy. You gotta start digging.
Yo.
He's like, he isn't dead yet. Yeah.
He might be able to get his way out of there. We don't
With
know.
the fact it took 4 of them to dig him out of the rubble in the recollection of the event, I'm not confident. But hey, good
Yeah.
luck, buddy.
But if he does get out of there, he's
and-
got some nice hamburger steak.
Right. His mom just wants him to come home and have a good meal. She doesn't care that he stole a whole bunch of money. She's a good mom.
She just wants him to not be dead.
Him
Which
get,
is,
by the way, him getting out of being buried alive.
Better mom
does
than
not-
he is a son, but yeah.
Him getting out of being buried alive does not solve the problem. Let's also.
No.
He's fucked either way, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's just step 1.
And then episode 3 focuses on Osoto, who is initially portrayed as a detective, but he's got this kind of like sinister side to him that Neko keeps picking up on, and then calls him out on his bullshit, and it ends up that he is actually a man who's been attacking people and killing women because he has a list of victims, and we find out that he, just while he's walking to go attack someone, slips and falls off a bridge and falls onto like a pot, like
A garden gate.
planter. Yeah, like a garden
And
gate.
pansies and flowers.
And gets stabbed a couple of times and is bleeding out on someone's balcony.
but
and-
not dead.
But not
so...
dead yet.
Not
I
dead
guess
yet.
they didn't hit anything super duper vital, even though I don't think that's possible to miss
So-
everything with that.
And
vision.
then,
Well, if Sakamoto taught me anything.
so then, Neko, after she calls him out on his bullshit, he takes Ruri as a hostage and goes, cool, so I can't let any of you live, even though we're already kind of almost dead. We're in purgatory right now. But I can't let you guys live because you know the truth about me. So no witnesses. And they're like, okay, but we're not going to tell anybody. That would require a lot. And then
It's worth.
and he's like, but you're going to do it. And they're like, fuck, all right, yeah, we were actually. And Neko does some cool bullshit to like blind him.
With the
He
mirror she
almost-
picks up.
With some pocket
Yes.
sand.
And then the manager comes in and goes, guys, you don't need to do this. You don't remember anything from out of here. Have you guys ever heard of this place before? No? Why the fuck do you think that is? This is a concept, not a real place.
Let the murderer leave alive. It'll be fine.
Yeah. And they're like, all right, man, get the fuck out of here. Like, okay, that's fair. And then he walks away for like 5 minutes, thinks about it, and then turns right the fuck back around and walks back in. And he goes, hey guys, I'm back. I won't kill anyone, I swear. They're like, okay,
I'm
fine,
just gonna
you can
be
stay.
I'm just gonna be a good little boy.
Like, they don't want to go to hell, actually.
I really like this interaction at the end of this. I think this third episode is really what sold me on this show. I really like this
Mhm.
third episode. First episode's good build up to get us here, but episode 3 kind of rules. I really dig the idea of the hotel manager being like, you won't remember anything when you get out of here. And yet when he walks back in, she fucking looks at him and she's just like, oh, I'm gonna get the cops on you when I'm gonna get out of here and I'm gonna remember and I'm gonna get the cops on you. And he's like, oh yeah, bet. And they have like this weird like mental game going on where we got problems still, buddy. You tried to stab the maid who I think is cute as fuck.
These two have the energy of Elle and Kira. Like,
I'm really interested in some of the stuff this show is cooking. I think it's really neat. I think it suffers a little from the fact that, boy, do I want to play this as a visual novel, because I think this probably fits the visual novel format much better than the anime format, but I can't do that, so I'm just going to suffer and watch this instead.
maybe if it gets enough, like, views on Amazon Prime, we'll get a translation, maybe.
Hey, we just gotta get its views up on itsanime@youtube.com.
Right?
Because apparently this game did pretty well, because it was originally a mobile game, and then got ported to PC.
Oh, shit.
We just gotta have a really good community to
But
give
yeah.
us a great patch. That's all I need. I'll
Yeah.
play it.
Hmm.
I just stylistically really like this show. I think it's really cool. I think it's neat. I like the premises. It's funky. It's got that
Right.
visual novel funk.
I'm
Yeah,
a sucker
All
for
we need is that
any
like
kind-
one very like chill and addictive visual novel backtrack. That's what the show really is missing, you know? That one backtrack that you're just like, ooh, yeah, we're investigating.
I mean, we
I feel
kind of got that
I
in
feel like
it.
it's not quite
like-
there though. It doesn't hit the same, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't. There's nothing quite like the Danganronpa.
It's got a
investigation
hit.
theme.
You know? But
Uh,
no, I think the show's kind of rad. I think it's a little bit like simplistic, but I mean that comes from being like inherently a visual novel, I guess, to a degree.
It's also the early.
You
stages.
yeah,
you
it's
lo-
also early.
Yeah.
you lose a little bit of
Um,
of
we-
like the element of it by getting adapted like
I-
this.
I think you mentioned it though, but it's like the interesting thing too is we did mention that it's like, hey, you guys can't stay here forever, just so you
Yeah.
know, by the way. Like
Mhm.
eventually you will just like die
Disappear.
and like cease to exist. So good luck with that, Mortal Dread. Anyways, I'm heading to bed or heading to the bar.
Yeah, but like there's lots of cool stuff. Like Atari's room is forever in nighttime. Like her room hasn't
also, he's
changed
like a music
at
nerd.
all. Yeah.
It's-
Um
Giles Records.
like there's this idea that we don't know what, like you can generally like figure out why a person's face looked the way it did, but they don't know why his was a pansy. And there's an implication that like they might not remember what her face looked like, or that maybe her face looked like her face. So did she actually like it blurred
I
her
mean, we
face
saw that
for
was just
us?
like blurred
Yeah,
out.
but was
so that's
that
the
for
question,
was
yeah.
that for us or was that for them? Because when she asks them, they say your face just looked normal. So did she actually get her name back? Or they said it? I'm really interested in what they're doing with her and Atsuri because they're both clearly like probably the last two mysteries to get unraveled in the game.
They're very big,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
question marks, right? And that's the intention, of course.
but you get lots of like small little cool things where it's like she's going through the building the first day and it's like, oh, there's this elevator that doesn't work, that doesn't seem like it goes anywhere because it's not unlocked yet in the game. That's an area for later, a secret mouse tool.
a mystery mouse tool we'll use
This-
later.
But then you have them talking about like how they're gonna start getting paid, so there's gonna be a currency to buy tools and stuff to help out with like the mysteries, and like how she gets rewarded with the mirror, and it has a lot of the setup build up stuff that I really like in the visual novel structure. And it's really cool to see it built into the story in the way they display it.
It just makes me want to go back and play fucking
Danganronpa.
no, not Danganronpa.
He does have to do that.
I still have to finish V3, but no, ZTD and stuff like that.
Can't relate, bro. I definitely don't have to do that. Ha 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 ha.
John,
John,
wait
we
till
gotta get you.
wait,
we
wait
gotta
till-
get you on the
I just
the
can't
999 ZTD VLR
You
train.
just said a lot of letters.
you will,
Jason, I
John,
don't-
you will unironically adore 999. Because
know,
the,
but,
the
like, it's just
characters
hard
in
to get into
999, you're gonna meet June and you're gonna be like, June's perfect. What a great character. And then you have to
Yes.
suffer. And you have to suffer through all the games and you go through all the experiences. It'll be great. But Tasokare Hotel, I like it. I think I need more of it for sure, but I like it generally.
Exactly. I like it. I don't love it right now. That's how I feel.
Michael loves it.
I something about the vibes. I'm just super in.
Yeah,
on
I've heard
this.
Michael
I
talk
love-
about Danganronpa, so I get it.
Yeah, the show just hits so. I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast. Whenever she gets a piece of evidence, she picks up one of her truth bullets. We give her a little like jingle, and it's the same jingle. I'm like, hee hee. I like that. It's funny.
Yeah, it's
That's
good
That's a
stuff.
jingle.
Neurons
That's a good
fired in
jingle.
Michael's brain.
Yeah. I just. I like how the opening kind of like. I mean, I don't know how the final shot of the opening is like a wall of 12 different mirrors that are slowly getting filled in with each case as she solves them. I guess cool.
Yeah.
I like
A
how
new
like very
touch.
clear these first like three. It's like you have your tutorial, like your tutorial with the tarot cards, where it was probably like in game, you had to do like one action. It was probably like just the deducing section. Then you have you have to do a little bit of investigation. Then you have now here's your first like test, and now it's time to get to the meat after this. Like, I just think this is cool. I don't know, man.
No, sure.
Mhm.
I'm super in on.
I'm all saying. I see Michael talk about Danganronpa.
Yeah.
I knew how this was gonna
Like,
go.
no, we started talking, and my brain went, "Wait a second. The manager's head is fire. Wait, is the manager also just like a person who ended up here and like doesn't know who he is, and he just has a head that looks like fire, and he like needs to cover his own thing? Is this gonna be like some shit we get to later?
Nah, he's just the devil from the Bible.
No, from the Bible. Why
I
is that
love
one
the
character like a
Bible.
lizard lemur creature with a telescope looking outside at nothing?
And he sees
Right.
things occasionally.
Every so often, he does.
Yeah.
Why was there a train? Austin,
I will
thoughts?
say that I definitely think that agree with the. I definitely would rather play this than watch it. I definitely think that it would be interesting. It's interesting as like a game concept, but as an anime, I just thought it was a little bit dry. And I didn't really find it that interesting to like watch her like go around and pick the things up because I was like, I'd rather be the one doing that. I don't need to see her do. I don't need
I
to
don't
see
think
her
it's this
doing that.
idiot.
I
doing
wanna
the-
be- I wanna
solving the
be- I
puzzle.
wanna
I wanna
be, like,
solve the puzzle.
The one stumbling around the
Yep,
hotel
I
finding
like
clues. I
puzzle.
don't care about her that much.
Hell, bozo.
Um,
Didn't you see the clue right there? Or they explore
Yeah,
assing
like,
around the
confused,
room, and
I
you're
have to
like,
go look up a guy because I'm just lost. And... No, but,
also, you don't like that she
I
Dora the
think it
Explorer's
very-
around is like, where's the clue in this room? Do
But,
you see the
yeah.
clue?
I'm not super I also didn't get like super invested in any of the characters in the 3 episodes. So like that's why I have it like so far below. So like I just would rather play a mystery game like that rather than like watch Mystery Death Parade. So yeah.
Got that Death Parade vibe, bro.
It very
So
much is
strong.
Death Parade.
The first thing they come in and do is play a game, and I'm like, fuck, I know this one.
Who's ready for a speed round?
Yes, please.
Welcome to
Yeah.
Sorairo Utility.
What did I do in Sorairo Utility, Sean?
They play golf.
Right.
Cute girls do cute things, except cute girls
Damn.
do cute things is actually cute girls do golf. So we have our main character. Minami. She's a gamer. She wants to do something that's not gaming because her favorite mobile game got shut down. So she needs a new focus for her life, a new goal where she can feel like she is important and a protagonist. And her friend, her classmate is like, hey, just go try a club for fuck's sakes. Be a regular human being than a gacha game gremlin. She goes, you might have a point. And she tries every club at her school and hates all of them. Nothing has that spark. And then she bumps into an old man on her way home, and he goes, would you carry my bag? You're an angel. You're the angel who's going to take me to the afterlife. But carry my bag. That'd be great. Thank you. I golf. Here's where I golf at the driving range. And we get to meet the sickest batch of old dudes just chilling, living the life, the good life.
Playing golf.
They give each other sick-ass nicknames for their cool putting skills. And then she bumps into Haruka. I don't believe this character's a high schooler. It sure says she is. I don't believe it.
So she's just smurfing. What do you mean?
She is just driving, and Minami's like, ooh, cool, golf looks neat. And they talk a little bit about golf, and she shows her how to golf, and she learns a little bit of basics at golf at the driving range. And then Haruka gets called away to work at the driving range because, plot twist, it's expensive to golf and expensive to go to a driving range. So most people who golf a lot will just work at like a driving range or like a course so that they can just also be at the place and make the money back to do it. It's a pretty common trope in this genre. I know because I've read Green's peak manga. So Haruka's like, hey, you should like let's go golfing. And they go, and she takes her out to a real ass golf course, and she does as bad as you do on your first time as a golf course. She actually does, honestly, better than I would expect.
Well, it's as you do in your first and your second
and your
third, your fourth.
She hits 100. Good for her. No,
It's a high score.
It's a high score, and that's bad in golf. They do some cool ass golf shit a couple of times. They hit a glow in the dark ball. That's neat when they hit it and it glows. The two of the old guys are there. They're rad. I enjoy this. It is quite literally cute girls do cute things. Minami is given a Japan outfit, a Japan uniform to golf in, and she's like, "This is a cool brand. Who makes a Japan brand uniform?" And she goes, "I don't." Haruka goes, "Who?
Somebody.
Who could say? Let's golf." They do a couple of cool things in episode 2 that I like, where she fucking beeps it on a drive, and it pops up like a "you fucked up" logo from like a golf game, and I think that's funny. And then you get a little bit at the end where like they're getting towards the end of the course, and she hits a really good shot for the first time, and it pops up like a stat sheet for her, and then like everybody gets these cool nicknames, and she misses getting onto the green, and it's like, rookie, she's trying.
I thought she was gonna hit like fucking what was it called? Something climbing girls, where she's just gamer mode and just locks the fuck in.
Iwakaru.
She fucking just I can see the code.
But so Haruka winds up giving her a membership to the driving range, her old clubs. Also, they exchange phone numbers because despite, again, Haruka feels like she is like a 35-year-old woman who doesn't know anything about technology because she can't work a fucking smartphone either. But I swear the show says she's a high schooler still. She's like a third year, I think. And then episode 3 introduces Ayaka, who is a golf influencer on an Instagram spinoff that I don't remember the name of, where she posts a bunch of stuff. And so she winds up coming in, and they do a golfing contest between her and Minami. And she's like, if you win, I'll give you a good part-time job, even though she's already working part-time at the driving range. I guess fuck Haruka for trying to give her a good job. And then if she loses, she has to go do a cool favor for Ayaka. And they do a little golfing contest to see who can hit closest to one of the flags out in the driving range. And Minami loses, I'm pretty sure. And so they wind up going the next day to a photo shoot where they all dress up. And Haruka also gets dragged along, and she hates it because she has to wear a skirt, and she hates wearing a skirt because she's a tomboy.
She's a tomboy written like a good tomboy is.
Yeah, and then
Tin-skin tomboy, let's go.
And then there's a point where Miami kind of like disassociates and is like, I shouldn't be here. These two are like one of these persons is really good at golf, which we find out before this, because our friend in the class, she tells her friend about how she met this cool golfer named Haruka, and she's like, Haruka Akane, like Haruka Akane, like the one who is in like the Japan national like team, like that one, and she's like, maybe, I don't know how to spell her name, so I can't look her up online. And so they do this photo shoot, and she's like, you're like a big like social media influencer. She's like a really good golfer. I'm just kind of a girl. I don't think I should be here. Like, I don't have anything special about me. And cause like that's not really how this works. You're allowed to just be a girl. That's fine. We don't even know exactly what we're doing with our life yet. And that's the 3 episodes of this show. I think this show is fine. It is a cute girls do cute things show. I don't particularly have any issue with any of these characters. I don't think any of these characters are like badly ripping or very tropish. Michael, the thing I was gonna say that I was gonna kind of give you a little pushback on is loosely you mentioned to me that you're like, I don't like that her thing is like she's the gamer. I don't think she's that bad on this. She mentions it like maybe once an episode, maybe twice at most, and I think it's just like, I like it because it lets her be someone who's not attuned to golf, and then look at an element of golf and relate it to something else she is familiar with, and it's like a nice little foundation for her in that regard.
Fair.
But I also don't think this show's fucking phenomenal or anything spectacular.
This show, I have it where it's at because I remember like being like, oh, this is kind of cute and fun. I genuinely could not tell you hardly any of what happened in this show. And I watched it relatively recently. It's just things happen, and that's it. And it's fine.
That's the genre.
But yeah.
This is no Medalist, I'll tell you that.
Nope. Very much not.
This is just trying to get the ball in the cup, goddammit.
It's okay. It's more for team than golf.
It's watchable. It's just like it certainly is just girls playing golf for 3 episodes.
This show though kind of
gay.
gay. You know, no,
It is
it's
gay.
not it's
Yeah.
not birdie wing, but they're like
Have
nonchalant.
we seen a male that isn't above
No.
the age of 76?
No, they
Like,
you don't exist in a golf show until you're 75.
Yes.
we're
Great.
basically in an all-girls school.
I say
Like-
it's kind of gay because like they're so nonchalant about it. Like they go to that golf course in episode 2, and she's like, "You look pretty cute in that outfit," and Minami's like, "Oh, thanks, that's neat."
Thanks, I
like
do.
she's
I
like, "Yeah,
agree.
I do kind of kill it in this outfit." Let's exchange phone numbers. I'm calling you when I'm in the bath. You're in the what? In the bath?
Can I join?
I actually
Austin, you cut out.
Hey, your mic
God
is
damn
doing
it.
silly things here.
Now you're good.
I really like Minami and Haruka as characters. I think they're very entertaining. I think they have really good chemistry, and I'm also a sucker for cute girls do cute things shows. I mean, my favorite anime series, for fuck's sake. So like,
Yeah, I would have hated
even though I don't exactly like love golf, you know, I still get behind the adorableness and the interactions. Also, the gags with the seniors just like joking about fucking dying all the time. Incredible. It's funny.
End of,
They're
end, of,
really good.
end of episode 2 or start of 3 when they finish golfing, they're like, time to go home where I don't have any grandkids who care about me, where I don't have anybody to give money to. I mean, I was like, that's so sad. And Haruka's like, they're fucking with you. And she goes, what? and they just fucking they laugh like
People
mechanical
lie?
monsters.
They laugh like, you
Dude.
know, assholes.
Sorry, you just this also reminded me of the bit that fucking Haruka hits her with, where she's like, "Yeah, when you go to different courses and different things happen. Animals show up, crows eat your ball, and then you have to hit the crow with the ball into the cup."
She's like,
That-
what? She's like, what the fuck are you talking
Fucking
about?
Mario,
It's
Mario
golf,
golf
man.
She- And Haruka's just like, "That was another lie. I lied to you. As easy as I breathed." The show has some charm. I think
It has
it's
some good moments. It has charm to it. Is it a great show? Not entirely. Is it a tolerable show? Absolutely. Is it a show that I'm like, oh man, I'd rather jump off a bridge than watch an episode of girls playing golf? No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's
no,
not
they-
that bad.
This is the
Is it
most.
so good? No, but is it bad? Compared to the bads, no.
Okay, I'll put it this way. Is it good? No.
So-
Is it not good? No.
So far, this is the most 6.5 out of 10 show I've ever watched.
That's a nice grade, Mason.
look, man.
I'm glad
All
you
I'll
gave
say
the extra
about
half.
all I'll say about Sorairo Utility is that it sure isn't the next two shows we're about to talk about.
This show
No,
is
no, no, I got you,
certifiably
man.
fine.
It will
I
survive
think the
a
old men are
little
really
bit.
funny. You know what? I love the old men. They're great. They're hilarious. They do silly
Yeah.
things.
They-
I do really like in episode 3 how generally nice the whole group is about her absolutely being the fucking worst at golf. You know, getting a score of 100
Yeah.
on a 9-hole thing. It's an average of of 11 strokes per hole.
There is
Yikes.
something to be said about her just going, bah, 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 the whole way
And then
down.
Did you also say she chips the ball out of a bunker first try?
Yeah, dude, fucking
Yeah.
wild.
Like,
It-
she
and
cooks.
most unbelievable fucking thing I've ever seen. But also most
Right.
believable because the people who are bad at golf do the hard shit easy. God, fucking bunkers.
Are
It
we
ain't no
talking about like a
it-
less good show?
it ain't no greens. You should read greens.
You should read all like 29 chapters of Green Green.
And this
They were-
ain't no adult romance. This is high school romance, so you know it's trashy.
You ready?
No.
Uh,
I'm gonna try to
Two-
also make this brief
two-
because two
too
reasons.
bad.
One, the show
Like
is pretty
GD
trashy, and two, I don't remember shit. I'll be honest. I watched
like
this like
Nothing
one
to
of
GQ
them.
has
remember.
Alpha Block. We have this section of shows.
So I'm getting married to a girl I hate in my class is a story about two people who are getting married because reasons.
They
So,
have the
Saito-
sickest grandparents
so-
known
so
to
Saito
man.
Ho-
Silliest
so-
people
and
ever.
So
Sick-
Saito
they're
Hojo,
the
our main boy, and
worst.
Akane, I think like Sakuramori.
Yep.
They
Name Sakura Mori.
they always bicker at each other in class and like, fine, fuck you, no fuck you, no fuck you, no fuck you. All right, have a good day. And then they each get a message like, hey, you need to come to the family estate to have some dinner with grandma or with grandpa. And it's both. They go, why are you here? Why are you here? Turns out Saito's grandpa and Akane's grandma liked each other but never got a chance to be married because of political marriages. So like, we're both widows now, and we're both just enjoying our time together. So we came up with this great idea, fantastic grandparent idea. You two are gonna get married because we couldn't, because it's gonna be funny, basically. And they're like, but we're in high school, and they're like, there's nothing too complicated, guys. You only have to be 18, problem solved. You're gonna get married. Like, we were in love, but we drifted apart. So we're just gonna make you guys get married, and make our grandchildren realize what we wanted for ourselves. And if you don't, I'm giving the estate to that dog.
And it kind of gets bribed with something else that we don't get to know about till
Yeah.
episode 3.
And so they're forced into moving and living together. The grandparents get like one big lovey-dovey bed with each other. We found out that Saito had been living with his cousin, who is a lolly, who's very friendly, as they usually
Who acts
usually
like
are,
who acts like a little sister.
and is way too perceptive. And then in the middle of the end of the episode, we get like the opening at like
Yep.
the 13-minute mark on the first episode, because we love when anime does that. Rom-com hilarity ensues, awkward moments ensue, and then we have a second episode where they learn each other sucks with living each other because Saito's a guy, so he's so messy and disorganized, and she's so proper and organized and clean, and so they have to come to a middle ground. There's also we meet Hamari, who's friends with like Akane and Saito, kind of in the middle of both, and clearly
Well,
definitely not interested in Saito at all.
I was gonna say
Definitely not.
She's friends with Akane, and she is in love with
Definitely
Saito.
not at all have romantic feelings towards Saito. Same with Shisei, the cousin. Definitely no romantic feelings there. We get our classic lewd scene where falls asleep in the bathroom, and he's like, I gotta pull her out of the bathtub or she'll die. And then the awkwardly, whoa,
then
we slipped and you fell on top of me. Crazy. What else happens? Like, it's just the classic tropes ensue where it's like, man, they're actually making progress with each other, and like it's actually like not bad. And then like they have like, oop, titties out scene, because plot demands it. In the third episode, they kind of start to get a little bit more amicable with each other, and kind of more like, hey, maybe we can just like get through this until our grandparents get over it.
Oh, she gets sick from studying too much.
She ends up overstudying, getting sick. She's trying to beat him because he's just like the naturally smart guy, and she's the try hard person. She's like, I'm not gonna lose.
And if she's
And then she
not
gets
smarter
sick.
than him, she can't be a doctor.
And then she's like, I can't go to the hospital. He's like, that's nonsense. I'll carry you in his fucking pajamas and bare feet.
In her pajamas, in bare feet. Real good for her, I'm sure.
And I'm just like, that's not. And meanwhile, I'm sitting here. This is like, I finished the show when I like
She's
just
dying of
started
pneumonia.
feeling like death, and I'm like, you know what? I get it. I also didn't want to leave the house and had to
Babe,
be dragged.
carry me to the hospital in my PJs.
No, it's more like she pokes me with the stick and goes, you're going to the urgent care, aren't you? And I'm like, no. And then she pokes me harder with the stick and goes, you're going to the urgent care, aren't you? I'm driving. I'm like, yeah.
Well, because you're an ideal relationship, not a dumpster fire.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to
And just
take
like
a
in this
crack
one,
at
I'm
this?
messy and she cleans up for my messes and cooks me delicious food. And I am a functioning member of society by existing and being an attractive male, because that's how that works. I think I kind of covered the main points there.
Who wants to take
Yeah, pretty
what
good,
shots at
guys.
this?
Pretty good.
Who wants to take what
Sakamori
shots?
is the fucking worst style of this archetype that has ever existed. She takes like quite literally every bad thing that could be the female lead in a rom-com. That is, they are a turbo virgin, but like the worst kind of turbo virgin that's always like, how dare you? But also like,
You mean I have to touch this
guess.
person?
but he's like, we're gonna bump into Saito, tolerable character.
Yeah.
You know what? He's not that bad. They're forced into the same bed. He shifts an inch. She goes, how dare you? He's like, we're gonna bump into each other. We're gonna end up touching you at some point. That will just happen. And she goes, oh, you want to touch me? Okay. They like presents herself. It's like, what the fuck? What is wrong with you? She's also just
all
worst
men are
tsundere
perfect.
ever.
All men should die.
But she's like the worst kind of student because she like
Ooh.
very clearly hates him, but they also randomly just go, but like maybe she likes him a little. It's like, what are you trying to portray with this character?
Mason, she is a combination of Mahiru and Tenko. Of all the things I dislike of both those characters, shoved even stronger into one. And there is no redeeming quality about her, so she's not Tenko. And I have to deal with her for a long time, so she's not Mahiru.
God, yeah, no,
She's
she
not.
really
She's not a
is.
plain piece of white bread, so she's not Mahiru. She unfortunately has
Yeah.
more things about her that make her worse. She's like if you took Tenko, Mahiru, and fucking small child gremlin from DR2
Oh,
Hiyoko?
Yeah, Hiyoko.
before she becomes a good character.
Right?
Oh, it's just all the I despise her type of character. She gets a little better by the time we get to episode 3 because they have to write these characters to be somewhat tolerable. Like, come on, like it's the stuff that's like you are writing this character specifically to make every guy on the planet dislike her, because it's like, oh no, he's playing video games in the living room. The audio's a little loud and it's a gory game.
God forbid he played video game.
Here's
Satanic ritual.
a story I have to tell. I was like, okay, this is one of my Crunchyroll shows. Maybe I can watch this at work. I watched episode 1. I watched episode 1. It was fine. I sat down to watch episode 2. I'm eating a fucking I'm eating like a stuffed mini bagel from Dunkin' Donuts. I bite into it. The scene in episode 2 plays where his cousin sister fucking eats his cheek, and I almost choke and die in front of 3 people who no one saw me almost die. I paused it and went, I'm gonna go watch TASOKARE, where I know nothing bad will happen.
So, can I also just say, it's kind of so. I forget how it goes. It's not often that we get a fight with 2 people over a video game console. If I had a nickel for every time it happened, I'd have 2 nickels. It'd be weird that it happened.
Yeah,
I don't know. I fucked that one
problems.
up, but yeah, both of them are from our worst shows.
At least she doesn't like do something that seems physically impossible to this game console.
Yeah.
At least this one makes a little bit of sense. What else do I dislike about this show?
She should be fucking dead. With a 42 Celsius fever.
Dude, 107, bro. I'm like, she's dead. Like I'm
Yeah.
sitting here like I'm sitting here like 99.5, and I feel like
And
my
I-
body's gonna fucking implode. And she's like
And I
107.
would
I'm
not
like-
miss her. Fuck you. Fuck her.
And she's like, I don't need to go to the hospital. I'm like, bitch, you need a trauma surgeon. Your brain is actively dying. Have you tried Tylenol, motherfucker? Like,
Here is the danger of this show. Is if we leave it here too long, we might get more stuff with Himari, and I might like it. Because she's probably gonna be the only tolerable
She's
character
actually just a
alongside Saito. Like the 2 of them are probably gonna be really good, and it's gonna make me question why we wound up with this romance dynamic.
listen, they said they had to get married. They never said they couldn't be polygamous. That's all I'm saying.
I would enjoy that. However, they certainly did introduce Himari as just Tits the character again.
Yeah, that's true. Austin,
And she
talk,
has not exactly like gotten any better with that.
Austin, talk a second.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. All I'm saying is that, you know, they need some of that on a group of too many losing heroines, so...
So here's the thing about this, right? Is that this show is maybe tolerable on a different season. Like, it might last a little longer. It's surrounded by really good rom-coms. Like, just everything else kind of blows it out of the fucking water. And it's also following up rom-coms from previous seasons that are also just leagues above it. Like, Alya just does everything this show wants to do 10 times better.
Correct.
Not even considering the fact that Crush at Work does everything the show wants to do 10 times better, and it's an adult romance that I can enjoy. God. How do you take a conversation of, I need you to let me accidentally touch you once in a while because I can't fucking exist in the same room as you, and take it as, I want to touch your body in bed? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Have you thought about segs?
For someone who's like so anti horny, she talks about sex all the fucking time.
It's a classic trope of like turbo virgin assumes like physical contact means penis and vagina. Like
There's
in-
also
any
Holding
kind of
hands
like
will get her pregnant.
holding hands. No, that's baby shit.
Holding hands is third base.
There's also,
Holding
like-
hands is the hold on.
there's this really odd thing too
Don't you know
here.
the order, guys? It's sexual it's naked and admiration and touching, sexual intercourse, kissing, hold hands. Easy.
True.
Intimately stare in
True.
eyes. Another thing that's really odd about this show, and I think it's episode 3, is they go grocery shopping. And she's like, you can't buy the expensive stuff. Bitch, he's the heir of a multi-million-dollar corporation. Why do you care anymore? Stop. Let the man buy whatever eggs he wants to buy.
Bitch, he is money.
You can literally afford to let him just buy. He could buy the grocery store. You could own this bitch.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like, I get it. Like, again, the show is too hard on the very stereotypical tropes that, like, it's like, ugh. Like, oh no, the guy doesn't read prices at the grocery store, but the woman will. You ready to hear me be more upset about a show?
One last thing I was about to say is like I'm getting married to a girl I hate in class. I remember like I've mentioned before that at work I just listen to like absolutely garbage dog shit like manga dubs on
Oh no.
on various YouTubes. Yeah, this was like one of them. That's not where it started, but like it was adapted into one of those shitty manga dubs, and I very, very distinctly remember listening to like all of like every single part of that at some point.
Okay, Michael. Good luck. Have fun.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I gotta
Yeah.
go for characters
No,
on,
you
on
don't.
the
No,
waifu bot
no,
in another
just.
server.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant you had to go pull up character names. I'm like, no, just
No.
talk about them like they just talk about them like how the show.
Her name's like Renga or something.
It's like
And
Renga
all their
Renga.
weapons are like.
Want to go for a
goofy
joint
as,
pain walk?
Like,
You guys got
like
this.
Norse weapons.
Yeah, they're all Norse or.
Yeah, it's all Norse.
Fucking-
Is Gungnir Norse or is Gungnir Icelandic?
it's-
Okay.
It's Norse.
I wasn't sure if it
So,
was Norse or if it was like weird Celtic bullshit.
Oh, so Momentary Lily. These alien robot things that I don't remember the general term for, nor do I care to look up here.
Oh, let me try to rack
And what
my
they
brain.
can do is delete humans. How do they do it? We still haven't figured that out. They could shoot lasers and kill them, but like it seems more that they actually like do a beam that just deletes them from existence.
I'd like to assume they're actually all secretly imperfect cell and they just eat them. Because that makes me enjoy
Honestly,
this a little more.
Who fucking knows? No one cares. No one who wrote this show cared enough to probably flesh that out.
They don't even put the fucking name.
So you have your gang. You have oh shit. I think I wrote this out at some. I don't know if I said it out loud or if I wrote it.
Oh, did you get what
um,
the opening says?
There's no.
Oh, I was wondering if anyone could decipher what that nonsense is they say in the opening and the OP of the show. It's like in a world.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So we have we have our main cast of characters, such as Big Tits, Gamer, Guilty, Bam, and the other one.
What's crazy is she starts getting a bit in episode 3, and I don't even know why she has it. It doesn't even make sense with the rest of her character.
Yeah, but they are they have these little like gems on a keychain that they have that they can spin, and then the gem or whatever turns into a weapon.
And Darvies. Something.
Yeah, sure. They do like their little magical girl transformations. They all have like these unique weapons that are all like kind of vaguely almost suited to them. Maybe I don't know. I don't know about these fucking characters. Like how Big Tits gets a shield because she's the mother of the group. Gamer gets little hacking throwing knives. Those are kind of sick.
Those ones are actually sick.
Yeah,
I
but-
will admit.
Yeah, but hers
Guilty,
also
she had.
hers does like 8,000 different things that no one else's does. She has like extra 7 powers.
She's cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you have Guilty. She is the student council president character essentially of the group. She has a samurai sword. We have Bam. She is a girl who has blonde hair and says Bam a lot. She has a really big sword or something.
Yeah,
Whatever the fuck hers is supposed to be.
it's a sword. Tierfrig is a sword, so it's a sword.
Yeah. And the other one has a sniper.
So we're
That's,
calling her the
yeah.
other one because she's like a into the most popular thing kind of girl, and she speaks in some lingo, but not enough to have like an actual bit about her until
Yeah,
she
she's
starts
the other one.
until in episode 3 where she starts dropping like random like moral pieces of advices that like pop up in little like scroll for some reason. Keep
Yeah.
going.
It's episode 1. They're fighting some of the hollows, the voids, the whatever the fuck you want to call them, the creatures.
World and
They're
fuck the Grim.
yeah.
I don't know, dude. Give me
yeah, you know,
something.
God.
they're like two like the normal ones to show up, and they go, yeah, we gotta show the 5 of them going ham. They do some stuff. They kill the things. They,
Yeah.
yeah. So Go Aheads notably is a studio that does a really silly thing. where they have these like really hyper detailed 3D environments, and just plop the characters on top of, which like looks cool sometimes. It looks fine sometimes. And then they get to action scenes and they forget what ground tracking is. They forget that when a camera's moving, you need to like make it so it doesn't jerk around like crazy. There's like a few like really decent tracking shots with like Guilty specifically like doing like a long form like strike on something. The issue is like in like episode 2, there's a scene where one of the Grim or whatever is standing still, and you see the ground shift under them like 100 miles per hour.
Mhm.
I'm like, the thing's standing still. On like halfway through, they do the thing. They're sitting there at a restaurant. Like every other human in this world is dead. They are gone. It is just the 5 of them vibing. One of them has a Nintendo Switch. The gamer has a Nintendo Switch. So they're all just vibing. And then the sixth girl shows up. Her name's like Renga or something. Renga, yeah, she shows up, and she's like, "OMG, there's people." And then Bam goes, "Oh my God, it's person." And then she joins the gang. Now there's 6 people in the gang. And then one of the things shows up. They start fighting it. They go, "Oh no, we're having trouble fighting." And she goes, "Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna call him my homeboy," whatever the fuck she calls hers.
It doesn't have a name. Hers doesn't have a name.
I mean, it doesn't have a name yet.
Yeah.
It gets one at the end of episode 2 because she steals.
3.
Is it 3?
It's 3.
It's 3.
Yeah, that's right.
I could have sworn it was in.
No.
Oh,
No,
two.
it's 3.
Because I know 3 is the sad boy hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's 3.
Yeah, it's 3.
Okay.
Because it only gets the
isn't-
name. It only gets the name once she consumes it.
Wait,
Could have sworn she
Yeah.
consumed at the end.
No.
Of 2.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
wasn't 2 the Sad Boy hours and then 3 was the flashback arc?
Well, yeah, 3
Yes.
is the sad boy hours flashback.
Yeah,
That's what I mean by sad
Yeah,
boy
yeah,
hours.
Two's the trauma pile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Keep-
so
keep
they're,
going,
like,
Michael.
They're like fighting this thing. She calls in her homie, and this homie is like this. Her weapon is like the weapon. Hers just kind of cooks. It's like kind of unfair. She got like the UR pull, while everyone else kind of got like the A ranks. The gamer got like
I hate
kind
you
of rare.
because that's the analogy the gamer fucking uses for it too. And I know you don't remember that. I know you're just
I
saying.
know I
I know
do.
you're gotcha build.
But yeah, like episode 1 happens. I guess that's kind of what happened.
I-
And then
You
and then
forgot,
episode 1,
Michael.
I was about to get to it.
No,
the
you
cooking
forgot.
segment.
Okay, good.
I was about to get to the cooking segment. I almost forgot about it. Then I remembered. I forgot. Then I remembered.
How could you forget the best part of each episode?
Yeah. So Renga gets there, and she's like, "You guys are just living off of actual shit. I'm gonna teach you how to cook some like gourmet shit out of ramen, canned foods, other things, anything that
Wasabi.
wouldn't spoil." And she has like a cooking segment where she teaches them how to make some lunch shit, and it's essentially cup ramen with with some stuff on top of it.
3-minute derelict cooking.
Yeah. Episode 2. We get another one of these cooking segments. I couldn't tell you what happens the first half of this episode outside of some more things show up, but these are like bigger ones.
She talks about how she has a phone and no one else has a phone, and she has
Oh, yeah,
social
she does have a
media,
phone.
and some weird person is posting photos on social media, so they should go try to find them because that means there's
Yeah.
another person out there.
Or so, yeah. And of course, yes, social media definitely would still be running.
Also-
It's definitely how that
also-
works.
Also, Bam doesn't want to be friends because being friends means you might die.
No, being friends means you have an attachment to someone
Yeah.
that's probably going to die.
Anyway,
and they don't want
I wonder. I know. Anyway, Chekhov's gun.
Also,
they-
the
So-
main character gets a weird vision that Bam is going to die.
So, also, in terms of the social media thing, they do bring up, hey, why don't we just message them? And one of them actually goes, no, let's go check it out first. That makes more sense.
Well, and then they give
Like,
an actual kind of understandable reason for it in episode 3 after we've already made the decision to go this far. But that's besides the point.
I think I quite literally watched about 4 minutes of episode 3 while I was doing something else.
Don't worry.
Actually, today.
I'll give you
It's
the loose
fine.
run. I'll give you the loose rundown.
it's fine. But anyway, episode 2 still happening. The big guys show up, but like this guy is like it's like the same guy at the end of episode 1. Now there's like 3 of them. So they're fighting them. And then
They've split
then-
off at
and-
this point.
yeah, and then Big Tits goes, I'm gonna lure 2 of them off to another place.
No,
So
just
you guys
one.
deal with this one.
Just one. The second one.
And then like a
comes- the
second one just
yeah.
appears.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's like, she lowers the one away. 'Cause she is the shield. She could just sit there and kind of stall it. And then a second one shows up, and she starts getting cooked. Then we have this like super fucking hard hitting scene of her like actually like on the brink of death, losing faith in the group. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
But then gang shows up. And then they cook. They go ham. They kill all the big guys. And then Bam gets shot and dies.
By the way,
As
I
well.
want you all to know her name's Yuri. It's a really easy name to remember. It's the only name I remember outside of Renge, and I'm still calling her Bam because she doesn't deserve it.
No.
Yeah, if you didn't understand, so I guess I didn't explain why we call her Bam. Every sentence she ends with the word Bam.
Just
At
like
least
how
one of them.
just like how
Yeah.
guilty starts every sentence by going guilty, which makes even
Yeah.
less sense to me than
Yeah.
Bam does.
Yeah.
And if you think that we're exaggerating on the gamer thing, I want you to know that the amount of time that she says I have a buff or debuff makes me want to shoot myself.
Oh yeah. So like episode 2, we have like this like sad end. It's like, oh no, Yuri, Bam, she's dead. Special connections to her. We got like a bit in episode 2 where we learn how the gamer joined the group, which is that they walked into her room one day and pulled her console out of the wall.
That's
of the
in
wall, and
3.
broke
That's
all the
in 3.
wires. Oh, it's in 3.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
they do
that's
all the
cool.
flashbacks in 3.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no,
no.
no. See, they kill the character first, and then they go, "What if we flash back and then?"
Now,
We forgot to make you care about this character. Shit.
guys, I want
Episode 3 is trying to make us care
You
about them. We
can't-
got some flashbacks.
you can't
and
post
shit.
something good in chat, Austin, when we're talking about dog shit. It's gonna upset me. I'm too focused on this right now. I want to
Get him out of here! Get him out of here,
Episode 3 is quite literally
guys!
20
I'm voting
minutes of, like,
Austin this week.
character
for
flash.
So, for you guys, real quick, though, I'm sorry.
Her, and this is how I met her.
We have to talk about episode 3. I have to bring something up about episode 3 real fast. This episode has a tone to it, right? Everybody's mourning her death, and the characters legitimately say this sentence. This is the screenshot I used because I think this is the most deranged fucking thing you can do. They say this line of dialogue when grieving their lost comrade over her grave.
Yeah.
The Bam Bam was a bit much.
I mean,
can't-
and then like some point in episode 3, her thing absorbs Tearfinger, and then she goes, "I know what I'm gonna call my sword now."
Just the
Tearfinger.
same
I'm
name
like-
as hers.
I'm like, it wouldn't have been cool if she like said something different.
Say
in
like
any
Jormungandr or something
Yeah.
like that. Like at least
Or
make up a
Fenrir or
new
something, because
name.
like a wolf eats things. I don't know, like it consume like not just the same fucking. She gonna change it every time
Ragnarok.
she gains a new person, because I imagine the bit's gonna be this cast is
What,
gonna slowly die
Michael?
off as we're getting
What?
here. She's gonna slowly absorb them all and create Exodia. Is it still gonna just be called Tearfinger at the end? Is she gonna jumble
No,
their
it'll be
names
called-
every
it'll be
time and
called
make stupid ass new names?
Let's be honest. The
No,
best
it'll
part
be
about the
called
show.
Hand.
No, it's gonna be
We'll also-
Rag.
That's
It's
what
gonna
shows
be
that Bam's
Ragnarok.
fucking dead.
It's gonna be Ragnarok
saying-
because she's secretly a sleeper agent for the weird machine monsters, and she's not
Remember
actually
the fact that we
real.
lost the best part of the show in episode 2 because big girl with big sword is cool as fucking shit. Also, does it tilt anybody else that they did the grave, right? And they have this big sword, and they laid it down on top of
They
it.
did
instead of
laid it up
sitting
like
in
a
the
crown.
ground,
Yeah,
like a
I-
tombstone.
So-
Like,
so nice.
bro, at least try with your symbolism. They're just like, we'll just fucking put it on the ground. I don't know, just put it on top of it.
Are we done
It's
trying
fucking
to
heavy.
recap this dogfire?
But episode 3, the flashback,
I
guys.
want,
Yeah, they had
I
some
want to make a
flashbacks.
note as well.
It was like a slideshow to me because I was clicking the fast forward button a lot. But like,
See, I will never fast forward through things. I will play a game on my other monitor though and not pay attention
Yeah.
to the shit.
you're
So-
right. Honestly, Michael, you're right.
You're
That's
so-
actually what I
you're
did.
so valid.
Because I was like, I'm not watching this shit.
I
was
wanna
playing
make a note as
KH2 at that
well.
point.
So while I was watching this, I was messaging Sean and Michael going, guys, I don't know if I physically can watch this show. Because watching the first fight segment actively gave me a migraine. And then just proceeded to shit on it afterwards. But that was the main point of this show, was just, oh god, this hurts my eyes.
So like, even on a more simplistic level, I despise this because its writing is the most abysmal piece of trash I've ever seen. Like, we talk a lot in some shows that, like, and like we talk about this a lot, Mason, Michael, and I, about visual novels having a visual novel syndrome, where when you have your full cast of characters at the start, everybody has to react to the thing the main character says. So you go through every character who says the exact same. That's what this is, but instead of saying anything meaningful or even like the same thing 5 times over, they just say their dumb fucking catchtop that makes no sense,
Yeah.
except for the girl who doesn't have one, and she just says things. On top of that,
the one time the show looks good though, by the way, my favorite part, not to interrupt your point, Sean,
no,
but
you're
it's
good.
like
You're good.
whenever they do an action scene, it's always like two of the 6 or 5 characters that are fighting, you can tell they cared about the animation, and the other 3 are just sliding. Like you'll have like this cool, like fully animated like sword swing and like animate and like run up, and it'll cut to Shield Girl and just go.
Okay, but also this show, I can only tell what's happening during the action segments, specifically when mommy is on the screen, because they make sure you can see the jiggle physics, and that's all that is clear in that
God,
shot.
there's a line in episode 1 where she's running up a staircase and someone turns her and goes, "Calm down with the jiggling," and I go, "You can't do it. You can't write that. You
can. That's where all the budget went, bro. It's too late."
I have so many things I want to say about this. So Mason, because you need to hear this, because I told this to Michael, and I don't think he liked it at all when I said it. This to me is what I imagine people have to think Ruby is like when they say Ruby is the worst piece of animation ever. It's dog shit. It's atrocious. This is what I have to imagine they look at when they're watching Ruby, and they're like, this is what they see. I don't know how. I can't fucking comprehend it, because that show has animation, it has character, it has like cool action sequences and weapons, and this show is trying to do all that. And
It just can't.
Gohan's needs to stop. They need to stop making anime, and they need to go make a gacha game for a mobile phone, because that's clearly what they want to make, and they clearly have the means to do it, and their backgrounds would look really pretty on your phone, and you could justify having nobody in them, as opposed to an anime sequence where you do a flashback, where you drop a character into a completely empty warehouse. Just a completely... There's nothing in the... Not just no people, there's nothing in the warehouse. Just dead. I hate them so much. It's
They
so
also talk about how
bad.
their hair like just feels like a fucking cheerleader's pom pom at the slightest fucking movement, and it's ridiculously extra and distracting at the same time.
You have to understand that Gohan's has been cooking to get things to look this pretty for a decade at least, and it's still dog shit.
I gotta say, man, listen, I made the mistake recently because I got bored at work, and so I started a new project and got caught up on a little manga. You might have heard of it before because it's a parent manga that's very popular called Boruto, and now this show somehow managed to have more contrived bullshit than that manga has so far, and that's impressive because Boruto's manga manages to pull characters that do certain things out of their ass every other chapter, it feels like.
Well, you know what the
And this
difference
show
is?
still confused me
You know
more.
what the difference is? Boruto has at least a small inkling of soul left in it somehow.
No, it
no,
doesn't.
unfortunately, Himawari exists in that series, so it has at least one piece of. Yep, fucking gotcha.
Don't bring her into this, Sean. Don't bring the one good part of that manga into it. And honestly, Boruto is like the second best character, and I hate that.
He's honestly not. He's honestly. And
He's not bad.
Manga, I'm sure, does some.
We'll talk about it.
It's a much
Everyone
more
else
enjoyable.
sucks.
It's a much more enjoyable conversation than this one, but we'll save it for later.
Everybody sucks in that manga, and I'll talk about it later. I need to rant to somebody about it who's close to caught up at least.
I'm not, but I don't care.
Read
John,
it, bro. It's only like it's like 50
I know,
chapters.
I should. John.
The manga, the anime has like 300 episodes.
I know.
It's like 50 chapters.
How the fuck?
Well, because the animates its own entire canon.
Look at the chart. Look at a graph of amount of filler that is in Boruto compared to canon. It is like 18% canon.
We can have this entire conversation too.
Yeah, that it's a separate thing.
Disgusting.
Back to garbage, and different garbage, but worse garbage. So, John, you said it. I think the worst thing you can do is kill a character and then try to make me care. I don't. I'm sorry. And it's not it's not like, because there are ways you can do it, and it can
It's reverse
work.
Tokyo Ghoul
And
League.
it's putting the character who you kill as really interesting and like setting them up as someone you really want to learn about. That's different than killing a character and going, now that they're gone, let me tell you about them and why they were important to all of us.
Let me tell you how they brought the
Quite
gang
the fuck,
together.
actually.
It's also, I also fully believe that this show is an amalgamation of trying to throw everything at the wall that you think somebody might like, that might keep someone watching your show, so that someone watches it and goes, yeah, but when they killed that person, that was cool. Or they go, but those weapons look cool. Or they go, this is really neat. I turned off Austin's camera. That's crazy.
Oh no.
I like, there's,
No, Discord just like pros.
you have the shitty catchphrases, you have the big tits, you have the 3-minute cooking segments that you can try to salvage any bit of hope from a show in.
You have seizure-inducing animation.
Yeah. Dude,
Momentary Lily's Peak, honestly, guys. I think we would watch a little bit more.
You know what was the scariest thing to me, though? I watched episode 2 and I went, we're gonna have a fucking blast talking about this dogfire of a show. And that means that I have to really make sure that I have to stress, this might be a fun bit for the podcast. If I have to watch another episode of this show, I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind. I despise watching this show with a passion, dude. Mason, the other screenshot I could have used was the one Mason sent us, where it cuts it. They're talking about Bam's death, and about like her dynamic with Guilty, I think, or something. Or they're talking about how well she works with the main character, and someone goes, "Yeah, it's just like these two characters from a random 2-name folklore drop." And they don't explain anything about it. It's just there. There's no meaningful background to the shot. It's just nothing. And Mason goes, I don't know what the fuck this is.
Hold on, let me find it.
I think in
Also-
the words of Dylan, we could just say, "This show's dog shit. Get it off my screen."
I
Con
think
Jang and Mo
I
Yang.
That's
think-
all
If
he
my
would say
girl
about
and
it.
Mo Yang
Oh yeah, are both drowning, and I can only save one. You can catch me at my girl's funeral, revealing worms in my hand and summoning tokens.
I'm
Stick
gonna
her into Chi Shao and add Long Yuan into my hand.
be honest about this. I think X-Arm looks worse than this, but I would rather watch it. I think Scar on the Praetor is just a better version of this, and that show also makes me ill watching it.
Like, okay, but like X-Arm is like bad, but also it's like not a migraine inducing as
Yeah,
much.
they didn't know how to animate.
sometimes.
Terrible.
They didn't know how to animate
Question
when
mark?
they made X-Arm. Gohan's knows how to animate, and they should stop.
I didn't know there was such a thing as being too animated until I watched this show.
I'm so happy that now I have actual ammunition for if someone is like, I could never get into Ruby. It just looks so bad, and I would go, oh, you ready? Oh, you fucking, I'm about to fucking golden gun you into demise. I have the secret weapon of all time. I think there's almost certainly more things that I had that I have forgotten about in my anger and dislike. So instead, I'll do the greatest favor I can for us at 12:36 in the morning, and drop the voting. Also, there's a surprise this week. Don't worry about it. Just feel free to answer it as well, in addition to the normal. You'll understand when you get there, and I think you'll all appreciate it being there. Oh, I guess we should also mention they named their group, and it's dumb, and they wind up being called Emu. And I thought they were gonna do like a momentary
Sean.
Lily bit, and they didn't.
Sean, who's Unio again?
Don't worry about it.
Unicorn.
You know
from
what?
ZENSHU.
You know what you want. You know what you have to do.
Thank you.
Save the animals or kill the animals.
Yeah, if you want to
I'm
consider
all
it
about
an
time
animal.
save.
But yeah, they do this
Oh,
bit. They do
man.
this bit where they're like, "Let's make a name for our group based on Yuri's name," and I don't know where they get all the things from. It's weird, and they almost wind up because they're like Memento Yuri, and I'm like, Memento Yuri, Momentary Lily. Are they doing some funky shit here? And then they go, "Let's call the group Emu."
The fucking Memento Mori, Memento Yuri bit, I was actively tearing my fucking hair out.
But Mason, Memento Mori, when the Nineth lion eats the sun.
Shut the fuck up.
I can't believe I'm saying this. Every part of ZTD, devoid of context, makes more sense than this.
Go
Sure,
ahead and shoot me. I won't die.
I won't die.
Ah!
Kill me.
Mira is my
You
angel.
must free the soul from the body.
Mira is my angel. So results are
Mira
in.
is my Mira.
Mira. Sorry, we've dissolved into fucking ZTD tier posts. We're very sorry.
God.
GTD post.
I hate to say that I think that is my favorite of the three, just because of how batshit insane it is.
It only becomes your favorite more and more over time. The results are in, ladies and gentlemen. Shows that have full saves: Flower and Asura, Crush at Work, ZENSHU, Sakamoto Days, Honey Lemon Soda. Is this real? Medalist, Welcome to Japan, Miss Elf. Okay, there we go. Those are all the shows that have all saves. I thought we all just only voted one show. I almost got hopeful.
That would have been base.
We have one slay on TASOKARE. We have one slay on Sorairo Utility. We have 3 slays on I'm Getting Married to a Girl I Hate in My Class, and we've all
Austin,
murdered.
let's go.
We all equally murdered Momentary Lily and Yunio.
Me and Austin weren't taking any fucking chances, bro.
Oh, I was the one. I didn't
No.
slay Getting Married.
Austin,
I slayed it, but I knew that. Well, I knew that. So I knew
Don't
that
worry.
It was
Don't-
fine because Momentary Lily was there.
Don't worry, John. I was never slaying another show this week. You had to all collectively
Look,
I was
decide that
put some
one
other
of you
slays out
weren't
there
gonna
just to
slay
keep my
Lily.
fucking like record straight, but
No, I'm
Um,
keeping my slay number up.
Well, don't
my
worry.
fucking-
Don't worry. As a note, everybody also did kill Yunio. That was an option this week. It'll be there next week, and for however long he stays in the show and is justified killing. It'll be fun to keep an eye on when our
Period.
opinion on him changes and we decide he can live.
Sean, did you like my name this week for the fucking voting?
My favorite name this week for the voting was the person who typed ZENSHU.
That was me.
ZENSHU. But the names are always good. But ladies and gentlemen, that is, thank the Lord, I no longer have to watch Momentary Lily. I don't have to talk about it. I don't have to think about it. I can.
Don't you love when you come into these weeks and you like you watch your shows and like your folder you have on like your browser tab, and like at the end of the week you don't even start the podcast and you already like remove that show. That one's going into the Slade folder.
What the fuck is happening right now?
What is happening, Sean?
What's up?
Austin's lagging.
Yeah, my
Oh, yeah.
webcams lagged so bad that John, as you were talking, you were sitting there like this.
It was momentary lilying, bro.
So I just heard
I think
your
our
voice
budget's,
talk.
our budget's gone, bro.
Your voice just talked, and you were just going. And I was like, wow, he's really good at this. Before the internet explodes and we all die, I think it is wise of us to call it a night.
Yeah.
We will, because oh boy, do webcams are not keeping him. John is slowly. I can't tell if he's doing a bit or if this is just.
Nope.
Oh my god!
He looks
so-
fine on my end.
It,
No, he looks fine.
I will have
Austin is still frozen.
you have
Yeah.
you have to go look at what my stream looks like at the end of this when it's done, because it is the
Just
funniest
disconnect me
shit.
for a half second too. Oh boy.
Yeah, my Discord really hates the webcams this week. I'm very sorry. I'm gonna try to look
Discords
into
are
what the
fucking
fuck's going
dying.
on. Yeah. But we are down to 10 shows. Perfect. Exactly. We'll be down to 9 next week. I wonder what could go. It could be anything. You never know. But thank you all for tuning in, and guys.